Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to tonight's race between EuphoricLemon and Sathdresh. That is harder for me to say than I expected. I am Baku Shinobi, and I'm joined by Commander Leonhardt. How are you doing, Commander Leonhardt?
Doing good, Baku Shinobi. Glad to be here.
I'm happy to be here too. Looks like we're going to go and have an interesting race between our runners. Two people from the Shoot group, where in the first stage of this tournament, we had groups of players all duking it out, playing against each other. Anyone who went through advanced straight to the next stage of the tournament called the table route. Anyone who was 2 wins but 1 loss went to the magma route. Everyone else came to the hook route. So we have EuphoricLemon and Sathdresh going and facing off in a grudge rematch, I'm guessing.
Yep, and they are both 0-1 so far in the hook route, which makes this an elimination match. Runners need to win at least 2 out of 3 matches to make it to one of the play-in races afterwards. So one person will still be alive when we're done here, and the other person will unfortunately be done.
Yep, they will still have the option of taking a race. There will still be matches set up for people who have 2 losses and 0 wins, but they will be mathematically eliminated from advancing in the tournament.
Yep. It's always depending on how many people have each record, that someone that's 0-2 might be playing spoiler to a 1-1, so exciting there, possibly.
Yep, and with this hook route, only 2 people from the entire route are going to be advancing. It will go and be one person who's in the 3-0 runners. All of them will face off and race, and whoever takes first in that race will advance to the table. And then there'll be a second race of the remaining 3-0 runners and all the 2-1 runners, and the first place in that race will advance to the table. So it is going to be an absolute terror to get in, but 2 someones are going to make it through here, and it could still be either of our runners.
Yeah, they are still alive, just gotta keep winning, but those play-in races in the hook route are going to be intense.
Yeah, they are going to be some very scary deals. And speaking of scary deals, some of our objectives are looking a bit more scary than others. Burning down Mist Village with a package is going to require finding the package. Could be easy, could be stuck on the moon. Completing Cave Magnus will require the Twin Harp, which maybe that gates your way underground, or maybe that's also stuck on the moon. Who knows where that's going to be? But we do know where Defeat the Queen of the Town of Monsters is. That's going to be pretty simply accessible, though it might be a hard fight to get through.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities with this seed. Depending on how it plays out, it could be quick, could be really rude. We'll be finding out. Kane and Sid to start, and free boss, King Queen Evelyn, handing over Dragoon armor. Yee.
Look, Kane's a Dragoon. He's just giving him some good armor, right? Want to make sure that Kane is well protected as he goes out into the world. Or maybe Sid's going to wear, because Sid can also wear good equipment. And Sid's only wearing prison robes, so maybe they're giving Sid something better to wear.
I'm not impressed by the iron armor Kane has on either, but either way, somebody gets an upgrade. Just have to see what the other party members become.
Indeed, we do have free characters on, and with that, we're going to be able to go and see a number of character checks early on. We also have C Relaxed on, which means Edge will go and be around in some of these free character spots, potentially. Fusoya will not, because Fusoya is banned from this tournament. We decided after the Fool Gauntlet he whopped up a bit too much and needs to take a break.
No map sightings for us today. Both runners heading straight to Mysidia. EuphoricLemon gets there first. We have a French Vanilla Palom and a second Kane.
Well, one of those characters I'm really happy to see. The second one, Kane starts with the spear. I believe there are some people who can go and give us details as to how much damage a Kane with a spear will do at level 50, but the answer is not much.
I was disappointed to find that the spear cannot be darted.
I'm guessing dart values just don't go down that low.
For the memes. EuphoricLemon's making a quick check in Baron, find some Kamikaze. I didn't see if Sathdresh found anything in the Mysidia shop.
Sathdresh found the opportunity to buy more spears for 60 gold.
We have our first scoop of vanilla with Karate Man Yang hanging out in Baron Inn.
And EuphoricLemon, looting Baron, hoping to go and find some stuff. We do have sparse 60 on, so if it looks like the runners are running and stopping in random locations, there's usually a treasure there. They just can't tell if it's empty or not until they check it.
Yeah, it's one of the ruder things about the pots in the grass in a sparse set is the chest, at least you can see at a distance whether it has value or not. But here, nope, no joy.
And speaking of value, Sathdresh sees that Forum, decides, no, not going to go and pick up Forum. That's not value. So, getting nothing from the Watery Pass and instead doing the Castle Dampian. That Watery Pass looks to be a bit out of the way. That's because it is. It's a place you usually don't have a good reason to go to. There's no key items there. There is a character with free characters on, but there is enhanced loot because out of the way places or places with trap chests have higher weighted treasures than usual.
Meanwhile, EuphoricLemon's thorough search of Village Mist turns up a Thunderclaw in the weapon shop. That'll be handy if he picks up Yang later, or an Edge.
Yep, Thunderclaws are probably one of the favorite of all the elemental claws because they, one, do bonus damage against machine-type enemies. Secondly, there's a number of rude bosses who will go and take bonus damage from lightning elemental damage, so definitely want to go and have those around. And finding an Edward in Dampian.
More vanilla.
More vanilla, and Sathdresh doesn't have the opportunity of walking away after seeing them, just wants to get their hovercraft launched. And EuphoricLemon did go and take the Porum in the Watery Pass. Porum and Palom can go and use their twin magic together, which maybe will go and be of benefit to our runners. Finding a lot of nice weapons in that Kaipo weapon shop, unfortunately doesn't have enough money to buy them, but they find an Earth Hammer anyway, so Sid has a pretty solid weapon.
And the vanilla continues as we find Rosa in the Kaipo bed. That's considered by most people to be the better of the two white mages, but being gated behind a sand ruby, you're certainly not complaining about having Porum around in the meantime.
No, Porum is the lesser white mage. He gets less HP, less certain stats growth, and learns spells rather late compared to Rosa, specifically Cure 4. She learns at level 48. You can remember this by saying Porum learns Cure 4 at 40 late.
I won't forget it now. She's a little better early on in that she doesn't have to go through Tower of Zot to pick up Exit, and she learns Berserk faster. But definitely for endgame, it's a clear choice.
Yes, if you have the choice between the two, you can buy exits. You can buy a stack of 20 of them. They'll cost a lot of money, but you can't go and buy an extra. Well, on these flags, you can't buy an extra 4,000 HP or 400 HP on your Porum, which is going to be the smallest difference you have at those levels, to be entirely honest.
Maybe a Kolkol, but that'll be it.
And it'll be really expensive. It'll take hundreds of thousands of gold. Getting a rune axe in the basement of Dampian is going to be pretty nice. That is a significant upgrade for Kane.
Yep. Targets the mage type that so many bosses fall into. Asura, the Baron Guards, second form of Rubicante. I'm sure I missed somebody.
Oh, there's also the Mad Ogre chest, which if we have a hook route, we're probably going to be seeing those Mad Ogres.
And the Magus Sisters. But in the meantime, hello.
Hey!
Because have a wyvern.
Wyvern strikes again, surprising your runners, and being the boss that goes and guards the incredibly overpowered Crystal Sword, it's really rude. And it opens with Mega Nuke. In the vanilla game, you might be able to survive just outright that amount of damage, but in everywhere else, you're probably going to need to get a Star Valve off. Sathdresh now has, they're lowering their battle speed to 6 to give them as much time to get into their menu and use a Star Valve on one of their characters. They do start with a few items because of our starter kit setting, and that is something you're going to be very appreciative of, because those Star Valve, only 2 that they start with, but popping both of them You're going to need to go and buy Star Bells later in case you find another boss like Golbez or Root Ashura that you have to go and reflect.
But it does get him through the fight. So we will see our first key item, perhaps.
Just a pink tail. That is not going to go in the vanilla game. You find this is a extremely rare drop from the pink puffs on the moon. And if you've never seen a pink puff, that's because they're also an incredibly rare fight in only one room. And with all that rareness, you think, what could possibly be worth this? The Adamant Armor. It's a very, very helpful piece of gear that gives extraordinary amounts of defense and plus 15 to all stats. Which is why we've turned off the ability to find them in this race. In this flag set, you will not get an Adamant Armor when you turn that pink tail. You will, however, get a random piece of high-tier gear. But we're going to need the hook in order to go move the hovercraft to take that to Adamant Grotto.
Yeah, it's, as you said, not too exciting. I don't blame them for keeping the check after spending all that time, Sathdresh, but I wouldn't have been too shocked if he had just reset out and said, give me my star guns.
Yep. EuphoricLemon going and using 2 Star Bells as well, but has found one, so they don't go and get levels on Palom, which is very, very poor, because Palom really wants levels early on to learn his level 2 spells.
So, nothing too crazy for my runner so far. Pretty typical opening for this race. Check your free characters, do a little shopping and looting, and duck into Antlion. The next step is probably our first chance at divergence. Some people want to fade Fabul hard. Some people, and therefore, go to Ordeal. Some people will go directly to Fabul. Sometimes people like Sathdresh will head over to Hobbs to check that character in boss.
Yep. An important thing of checking bosses is that there's a bit of a wildcard key item in the form of the Mist Dragon. When you kill the Mist Dragon, it will go and spawn Rydia's mother in Mist, and she will have a key item for you to pick up. Mist Dragon can be pretty much anywhere, unless it's gaining the way underground, then it'll be forced to be somewhere overworld, or if it's gaining the way to the moon, it'll be forced to be somewhere on the blue planet.
Sathdresh finds Edward on Hobbs and probably was not interested in that fight at all, just checking to identify the sparkle, now knows that it's D Lunars, and is on his way to Fabul.
That is pretty good information, because as we saw with Wyvern, that was also a lunar sparkle. You can't tell who is the boss from just that sparkle, but it's going to be one of the 5 bosses in the vanilla game that are up on the moon. Wyvern, D Lunars, Plague, Haldim, or Ogopogo.
And of those 5, D-Lunars certainly have their tricks and can be rude in certain spots, but if you know how to take them down, not as punishing as some other ones. So personally, I'd be a little disappointed to have D-Lunars tucked away there.
Yeah, there is of the lunar bosses we have left, I only consider Ogopogo to be incredibly rude. Haldim can be mean, but is a dragon that only punches compared to Wyvern, who jumps out and blows up your entire team to start with. So, of the ones that are left, Ogopogo is probably the scariest. Plague is
agreed.
Interesting in that there are a lot of different ways of dealing with him, but there's also certain locations Plague is still really mean, because he casts Count on your entire party, and when Count hits 0, they just perish.
Yeah, Wyvern and Ogo had the list sparkles for me. I put Plague down at the bottom, like, oh, thank goodness it's you, in a bad spot. And Haldim and D-Lunars are kind of middle of the road situation.
That sounds about right to me. And
speaking of someone that's rude in a different sort of spot, we have Bygone.
Indeed, we do have an Earth Hammer, so Sidus can use it as an item to just automatically take down the arms, but might not want to go and do that. Also, queuing up, just going through the actions, Bygone, when hit with magical damage, is going to go and cast Wall, and that's going to make it rather obnoxious to try and go and cast spells with Black Mage. Though, I believe we have... Fun fact, Twin Magic doesn't provoke that counter.
Uh-huh.
Twin Magic also doesn't provoke counters from Ogopogo. It's a rather unique thing. I think it's treated more of a skill rather than as white or black magic, which a lot of counters might be specific for.
Things you can learn watching races.
Indeed. That is something I encountered just earlier today, and was just, wait, what? Really? And both of our runners are now getting through that Bagan fight just neck and neck now, so we're going to be seeing what we get from Fabul, and then we'll be wondering if we're going underground or if we'll be hitting either Ordeals or Baron Inn next.
And we have a hook.
Oh my!
Good news, we can turn in the pink tail. Bad news, magma might not be over.
Yes. This is one of those things where I would absolutely be going and checking Ordeals and Baron Inn and hunting down that Mist Dragon the best I can, because missing a Magma Key is kind of awful. If that hook route can be very rude, it can be very mean, and if you don't have to do it, you will lose a lot of time doing it.
I agree, and also I'm not super confident in this party yet. If I'm going the hook route with the current party, Hallam is gonna have to learn Quake for me, and I'd really like to find a higher quality spear for at least one of my Dragoons. So I'm with you. Ordeals, Baron, check Waterfall and Mist Cave for demist, and if anything else opens up on the overworld, let's go ahead and do that too.
Yeah, and other part of Ordeals, Tele gets all of his spells. Oh, hey, look, an Avenger. That goes and solves damage.
I believe that would qualify as a better weapon for Kane in my book.
Yeah, the Avenger is a unique weapon in the sense that it will go and, in addition to being a pretty high tier weapon with around 80 or so attack power, giving plus 10 to strength and agility, it also auto-berserks the user. So Kane is never going to go and pop up again in the action queue when he has that Avenger equipped. He is just something going to go and start swinging.
Yeah, so many things that you can do with the Avenger that kind of show off the unique mechanics of Final Fantasy IV.
Berserk is a great status effect that you want to use in Final Fantasy IV. It's probably worse in later games because they made it really good in Final Fantasy IV. Plus 50% to any attack damage is really good. Also, EuphoricLemon has gone and insulted me. He saw Gear 2s in shops and didn't buy any. I am terribly insulted, and I know you start with 10, but you can always use another 20 or 30.
It doesn't cost that much. I hear you.
I am very biased to having Cure 2s, because I'll also use those to not need to rest sometimes if I just need to get someone up. And it looks like Sathdresh has gone into Baron Inn and is going in fighting the Bahamut there, and is now getting to Golbez in the second spot. Yuck.
Now, because we've seen a hook, there could still be a magma key. Golbez is allowed to block one of the ways underground as long as there's some other way on the overworld. So, carrying through this in the hopes of magma key is certainly justified.
Yes, Golbez, Wyvern, and Valvalis are three bosses who cannot logically block the logical path underground. Illogical path, fair game. I will be amused if we see Valvalis in the back attack spot or in the Crystal Chamber of Ordeals, because that would mean that we have three of the gating bosses in other spots.
That would be a thing, to be sure.
It also gets rid of a lot of really rude bosses, though. I really don't like Golbez in this spot, because I think you're noticing Sathdresh is getting a lot of turrets to trying to hit Golbez. He's missing because until Golbez does his script, he's immune to damage. And his script, for those who are curious, is to kill off your party until you're down to 2 characters.
And he is so slow in this spot, which is good news when it comes time to put up your Star Veil in the second phase, but really bad news when you're waiting and waiting for this part.
Question. Did Sathdresh find or get any more Star Veils? Because he burned the 2 that he had.
Have an answer. And next question. How strong is the magic in this spot? We're about to find out.
The magic is not very strong, but neither is the resilience of our characters. Also, welcome to the raiding party from Free Enterprise. Thank you for joining us. We are in the start of our race. We currently have a pink tail from the Antlion Cave, which was guarded by Wyvern, a hook, which was guarded by Bayonet Fabul, and now we're seeing EuphoricLemon getting through the second fight of ordeals. We're against the Officer Soldiers, where Leviathan was in the first spot, and Sathdresh is going and trying to get his way through Baronin, where Bahamut was in the first spot, and now he's facing Golbez.
And the pink tail ended up turning over something else that started with A. It has an Avenger.
Yes, that is a very good point. The Avenger is going to be a very good weapon for our characters to have.
And that does indeed answer the question. The magic here is sad, sad, sad.
Oh, and we have also been informed that Sathdresh did take a wipe to the Wyvern, so he lowered his battle speed to 6, and has not re-upped their battle speed. This is something that is so common, it's even got a nickname, Wyvern Standard Time.
Yes, indeed. It's rough. On the one hand, I mean, you're less likely to lose a fight that you go into because you're not going to be dropping the actions you do on battle speed 1, but it's still a race, and you still want to get done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you will go and sacrifice some of those turns if you can still beat the fight and you'll keep the time. Speaking of the time, EuphoricLemon won't have to find time to go to the doctor because, hey, he's got a silver apple. Not what he wanted to go and see. Also, Mylon Z decided to go and migrate inside of the chamber today. Maybe it was too cold for him outside or something.
Could be.
And Sathdresh is still getting through the fight.
If we don't find a Sand Ruby for Rosa, at least Porum can get some hit points out of that. But not what EuphoricLemon was hoping for.
Very much so.
So, presumably we'll have a crisscross after this, unless there's a magma or some sort of chain at Baronin.
Agreed. And there is still hunting down the Threemus in the event they happen to go in the overworld, though. Less and less likely. Though if we do see Valvalis at that Rubicon spot in the Ablin Cave, then we would know that Threemus is around somewhere.
That's true. Because the hook route, if it's the supposed only way underground, is not allowed to have any of the 3 bosses you mentioned earlier. The real fun, which I'll see happen someday, is to put a gated boss in the Rubicon spot and tuck the D-Mist in the first spot, King Queen.
Oh, that is...
One of these days, it happened.
I've actually seen someone deal with that. It was amazing. What made it even better? Trap chests were also in the mix.
Ugh. So many options.
So many options, and it was that. It was glorious.
I'm sure it's just, observational data and not actual things, but I keep seeming to find a magma key with a flame dog.
I know that one as well. I didn't see what Sathdresh got from completing Baronin.
Rat tail.
Ah. And it gives the adamant, so that is half of one of our objectives. That could be very helpful.
Yep. Forge is now a possibility. It's only 1 item away.
Yeah, we're basically looking for a path to Zeromus and 2 of 3 key items now, for Sathdresh at least. EuphoricLemon might not be so inclined.
Voyager pointing out, there's been a lot of vanilla in this seed that is, in fact, 4. We had a vanilla Edward, we had a vanilla Yang, we have a vanilla Rosa waiting in Kaipo, and that adamant makes 4.
Poidrak, you use the vanilla in cakes, not in seeds.
Tasty, tasty vanilla.
Sathdresh seeing a Yang up there and choosing not to go and roll it. Or not to go and take it.
Yeah. And he's going to get through those bosses and be rewarded with a silver apple for his trouble. And we've now seen that Baron Inn does not lead underground. So the only way to avoid the hook route now is with Demas.
Yep, and we'll see if our runners choose to do Demas checks or if they just accept their fate and start diving underground.
Goober asking in chat what the tail items were. Rat was adamant. Pink tail was Avenger.
Also, while our runners are going in covering ground that we have covered, let us give a shout out to our restreamer Poitrak, who is going in to bring the race, our tracker Aliceal, who is going in lighting up all these lovely buttons for us, though we're not lighting up the fun ones yet, and to my co-commentator Commander Leonhardt for helping me with commentary.
And glad you're here helping me with the commentary, Baka Shinobi, as always.
Indeed, and if you're also looking to see more Free Enterprise, you can definitely follow our runners as well, because they will probably be playing it for at least a little bit longer. But with this team, and the characters we've seen so far, how are you feeling about going into a hook route?
Better with the Avenger, not gonna lie. Got Fake Fur Quack Kid, can set up an Avenger. I think I saw some sort of drain effect over on Sathdresh's side. I've cheesed a hook route or 2 using drain effects, so starting to feel better, but not quite there yet.
Very fair. And looking at that hook path, we do have another character in Evelyn Cave. Any preferences on who you see there?
Edge.
Hard to disagree with that one.
I'm more vanilla, but also Edge. We haven't seen a lovely ninja sword for him yet, but when all else fails, he starts out pretty darn good.
That is entirely fair. I am going to go and be a bit... well, I don't even know if it's controversial. I'm going to go and say I would like to see a Tella.
Oh, that's valid. Tella's amazing. I mean, we've missed some of our loot dives with Exit, but still, Tella's utility once you've gone up ordeals is phenomenal. That's a perfectly valid choice.
Yeah, and if we want to take on that Mad Ogre chest, Tella does have Size, which is a level 30 some odd spell for most white mages. You can go and cast Size on the Mad Ogres, provided that Tella lives through it, and it will go in, well, it can hit them. With Tella, he doesn't have the best casting stats, but if you land your Size, then those ogres are little fusions and hitting for 1 point of damage instead of 100 or much more than 100.
And once we do get underground, Tella will know Warp. Alan needs a long, long time to learn Warp, and we do have the Warp glitch on in Dwarf Castle, so having access to that spell is like...
Yeah, that is definitely a big boon. It takes Callum about 100,000 experience to learn Warp. Which, if we find Sirens in the underground, that's only 3 eggs. If we don't find Sirens, that's pretty awkward because Dwarf Castle will only give about 50,000 experience if all the experience spots are giving full experience.
And some people will calculate the Dwarf Castle XP and dive in just up on that threshold. It always makes me uneasy to do that. I feel like I'm tempting board AI to say, please take out Palom. I would appreciate it.
That is exactly my feeling as well. I am very much so in the camp of, let's get Warp first, so that if Palom has to take a nap for 2 fights, I can still get this. And speaking of getting this, EuphoricLemon gets their adamant and has caught up to the checks that Sathdresh has done, Meanwhile, Sathdresh is almost through Mount Ordeals, and now EuphoricLemon knows it's either Threemus or Hook Route. Where is EuphoricLemon going to go?
First things first, might as well drop off the hovercraft where you know you're going to need it in a moment.
Yep, and landing next to Eblin Castle, are they going through the shoals, or are they going to... Looks like they're taking a loot dive into Eblin Castle. This is another location with high-tier loot. But we could go and also find some nice stuff here, and there is a trap chest, which maybe our EuphoricLemon is going to go and choose to take for experience.
I generally like this move. The only thing I would personally do first is take a quick peek at the Cave Eblin shop. It will have 2 different tier 5 items, which could be hourglasses, and if they're there, that's going to make this dive much cleaner.
That is incredibly fair. Hourglasses will cast Stop on all enemies. Doesn't work on bosses, but these are not bosses. You can go and stop them, and they might get 1 attack off if they have huge. But otherwise, you're going to go and have a very free time here. And right now, the only thing we're finding for free are punches for the Avenger Cane. Getting him back up, and I do forget that the Avenger also gives 10 Vitality in addition to 10 Strength and Agility. It doesn't come into play for the damage stats, but when you revive things with Life Potions, or the Life 1 spell, it gives them back HP equal to 5 times their Vitality stat. And when that cane come back with 155 HP, he has a rather well-augmented Vitality stat.
There's nothing that makes that so obvious as to revive a low-level female character wearing a heroine robe. They come back nearly full.
It's funny when you go and revive a Rydia wearing a heroine robe at level 1 outside of combat, because she goes from 30 HP to 150 HP out of 30. She loses that bonus HP in combat. Ooh, and finding a power shirt. That's going to be really nice for Avenger Cane.
Oh yes, it's going to up the damage big time. Plus 15 to strength is going to increase the damage. Plus, melee attackers get an extra swing in combat for every 8 points of strength. So that's going to increase his damage output significantly.
Yeah, and that gives plus 15. So that's very likely to give 2 extra swings of their... or 2 extra melee multipliers, as we call them. Alright, so that Zeus Skull is looking really nice too. That's another plus 10 strength. I think Avenger Cane is pretty decked out.
I would say so. I mean, what more can you ask for? No, seriously, what more can you ask for? You got a bandana, you got a power shirt, and you got Zeus Skulls.
Did we also get a defense sword, or was that a different sword that I saw? Hey.
I saw Murasame, but there may well have been a defense sword somewhere else too.
Okay, that was a Murasame then. And finding Sirens and Hourglass 2s in that shop, you were very correct. There are Hourglasses in the shop, and it would make these trap chests a bit easier.
That's not the place Sathdresh wants, though. Sathdresh is going to go into Eblin Cave and immediately resets, which is a valid reaction to those Stalemen. They are not that much XP, and they can be surprisingly rude.
Yep. EuphoricLemon finding a Dwarf Axe in the middle section of Castle Eblin, a very useful piece of equipment because it allows Kane to be back-row glitched.
Yeah, he's got less options as far as that goes. Back row glitching is where you equip somebody with a long-range weapon, such as a Dwarf Axe, and they are then able to deal full damage from the back row of their own party and the back row into the back row of opponents' parties as well. Now, the glitch part is that once somebody picks up a long-range weapon, either out of combat or if they grab it in combat, if they take an action, they retain the ability to deal full damage for the rest of the game.
It is a very handy thing to do, and if nothing else, it allows you to go and do full damage to obnoxious enemy formations like CPU, which has 2 attackers in front and the main body in back, or just to keep your characters a bit better defended, because they're going to be in the back row taking half damage and doubling their defense and having enemy accuracy.
So far, Sathdresh has gotten a ribbon out of the Cave Eblin, which is a lovely piece of defensive gear.
very helpful. It does go and protect against instant death among other statuses, so it would go and protect you if Golbez was still around and you were trying to go and make sure a certain character lived through those Shadow Dragon Devours. It will also keep Evil Wall from being able to kill you with their Crush if they get to that phase.
Yep, and as if all of this wasn't enough, it just has generally good defensive numbers that are worthy of being worn through to the end of the game. You know, we speculated on what characters we might find here and who we might want to see. I don't think we ever would have said Edward.
Edward is a great character. He can do a lot of things. He can do some very funny things against the evil I mentioned. I don't want Edward right here. I think we've got the team will be better without him.
Yeah, there are definitely a few spots where you can do some amazing things with Edward, but we just are not in that situation right now. Now, if I'd seen Evil Wall in that Rubicante spot waiting, I might have gone,
We can still go and have a fun time if we go and see Evil Wall in the King Queen Evelyn spot. That is actually probably the easiest place to go and deal with Rubicante or Evil Wall with Edward, because it has a lot of attack power, not a lot of HP. And why would that matter? Because if you have no viable characters around, and Evil Wall
Aging PK. The Crystal Sword has been found.
And now we get to see if there's a Cecil in the seed. Though we might be interested in... Okay, let's be honest. No one's going to be interested in not taking Cecil. We've seen Wyvern. We're going to go and take Cecil. The Crystal Sword is the highest attack power weapon in the game. Is the Spoon. It has attack power of 255 in the vanilla game. It's only used to be thrown by Edge. The second highest attack power is the Crystal Sword at 200 attack power, and it gives plus 15 Vitality, plus 15 Wisdom or Willpower, and plus 15 Strength. It is a disgustingly piece of good gear that a level 1 Cecil can wield and do 1,000 points of damage with.
And that doesn't even consider its properties as a Holy Sword.
It's a Holy Sword, and it's a Holy Sword that exploits the undead weakness because, that's fair.
Yeah, I've seen newly minted Paladin in the Tomb of Ordeals do silly things to Mylon Z that is simply gross overkill.
Yes. And Sathdresh has found the Mad Ogres and is just getting slowly beaten down by this, and is still at battle speed 6, which is costing them a lot of time. They have taken a reset. I don't remember the last spot they saved. If they saved outside of... Okay, they saved inside of Cave Evelyn. Also, they're turning up their battle speed. That is something they've needed to do for a while. It's very easy to forget to turn up your battle speed after you finish a fight, because your thoughts are, alright, what am I doing next? I'm doing, I'm going through Ordeals. I need to get coming down Ordeals. Okay, I need to go and get to Baron Inn, check that spot, or I need to go and have this hook route. And you're forgetting about the important fact that your battle speed is still 6, and it's still going to take you ages in your next fight.
Yeah, it oftentimes doesn't kick in for me until I get into a fight where I'm panicked to take a first round action, and then I get another action and a third action. I'm like, wait a minute, that was too easy.
It's it really hurts when you go and have that many actions and you're sitting there thinking, this is the third time I've told myself, raise your battle speed.
Things easily forgotten. Checking your battle speed. Checking your Demus.
Yeah, now that our runners have gone and checked the Vanilla Demus Cave or the Waterfall for Demus, so they could be hiding there with a Magma Key and neither of our runners will find it, or they could be hiding there with the Darkness Crystal and neither of our runners will find it until they run out of checks on the Overworld, or in the Underworld. EuphoricLemon is, he's going and really looting everything, getting geared up, is going to have a lot of good stuff for his team.
It leaves him a little behind, but I like it. You asked me earlier how I felt about this team. going on a hook route, and the answer's still the same. The defensive gear that I've seen in Cave Eblin here helps, but I still looking for that last little piece to kind of make me feel like, okay, let's do this. He's keeping that white mage well protected with a ribbon and a protect ring. I like that.
Yeah, even that white mage's Porum, it's definitely a reasonable thing to go and try and keep them alive.
Quick math, Baka Shinobi. One quick cast on Dolls at Rubicon. Clear or not?
Maybe. I think that spot has about 26,000 HP. The dolls can split into 6 parts, and there's the big doll that has its own part of the HP pool. I think a few thousand damage, a couple thousand damage to the dolls would be enough, but it would be close enough where I'd want to go and have other party members with actions ready to just queue up attacks and take them down quickly. Ooh, and Sathdresh is taking another reset, just taking too much damage, going and throwing defensive gear on their Porum, trying to get a bit more prepared. Doesn't have all the lovely toys that EuphoricLemon does, and is just really struggling to get through these Mad Ogres. Meanwhile, EuphoricLemon is literally just sitting there, watching Avenger Kane go and swing his sword and take out ogre after ogre. Also discovered that Mad Ogres have incredibly high magic defense, and dancing daggers count as magic. They're not going to do anything, unfortunately. No. Ooh, and Palom gets knocked down. That is not good.
No, you definitely want to make sure to get Palom back up before the fight's over. You do not want him missing out on all of this experience. Ruining it and showing off that Mad Ogres are, in fact, mages.
And doing that quadruple damage, Porum getting a turn, going to go and queue up. Kane hits the Mad Ogre, but doesn't kill it, so Palom can still be up. And Sid finishes him off. Palom is going to be getting Quake off this. We wish you were getting a nuke. That would be a very quick fight.
Suddenly no concerns.
Suddenly damage stops being an issue. Hey, look, a ninja sword for the ninja that's in our... Oh, wait. We still have not...
Wait, what? That wasn't an Edward. That wasn't an Edge. That was an Edward.
I mean, Edge's name is Edward. He just, doesn't go by that.
But Edward's name is not Edge. So, what are you going to do?
Probably go and sit there and stare longingly at Edward, wishing he would go and use a slightly better weapon. And maybe go and just...
running around, Edward's allowed to use bow and arrow.
Yeah, you're allowed to use a bow and arrow. It would be nice if you would go and dual-wield ninja swords like Edge does.
Everyone just needs to learn to dual-wield.
Look, Final Fantasy
Double crystal sword says all. Okay, no.
If it let you overflow your attack value, it would probably let you do that just fine and dandy. Then Cecil becomes a real liability. Cecil, wear a shield. We might go and give you a dagger, but you're at the risk of going and overflowing with even the weakest weapons we can give you. But EuphoricLemon is down at the bottom, has done a lot more looting, full cleared Eblin Castle, but Sathdresh has unfortunately been taking a lot of time on this poor Mad Ogre chest, is getting through it now, is going in, reviving his bottom Kane, and is going to be getting through this and getting that ninja sword. But has lost a bit of time. Oh, Blue Robe.
Or deadly poison. Oh, it's good.
That's the free one.
Yep.
Water Hag is a story fight where, after hitting him 3 times, you will concede defeat and just simply die. In the vanilla game, Edward is the one fighting him, so it will take more than 3 swings to actually kill them sometimes because Edward's really bad at hitting.
And Sathdresh is through the Mad Ogre fight, but without the experience from Eblin Castle that EuphoricLemon has, his Palom is only up to virus.
Good spell. really want Quake for those dolls. Quake is very likely going to be a one and done type of deal for those dolls. And if you want to be extra certain, bluff once with Palom. Though maybe if you do that, you'll go and be giving too many turns to your Kane to go and Avenger down. So probably want to just cast Quake as soon as possible. Avenger Kane swinging as hard as he can, hitting the back Cal for 1200 damage.
That's good news for this Quake.
Yep, we're going to go see some... we'll see how close this Quake takes all of these things down. It will likely go and take down all the dolls, including the back Cals, but if it doesn't, then EuphoricLemon probably has a slight issue in the form of the Cals will probably get another turn and summon the big doll. Well, back dolls are still in...
No. 20 was the best Quake. The weak Quake did go after the one that Kane had hit, but 2600 still not enough, but it was close enough.
Avenger Kane takes out one, Defender Kane takes out the other. Offense and defense working in harmony to completely and utterly decimate our enemies. And EuphoricLemon is through the hook route. Also,
Sathdresh, that nice white spear.
the one chest down here I believe EuphoricLemon skipped is a white spear. He's probably not going to be too upset because he has the Avenger and the Defense Sword, but that does sting a bit.
A little bit, but it's understandable. And yet, there's a Gungear in a chest that I would often skip.
I don't blame you for skipping that. It's easy to go and skip these chests down here because you're underground. It's 43 minutes. Do you want to spend more time looting, or do you just simply want to get going? And you are EuphoricLemon. Where do you go from now? You have completed 0 objectives, and you've just gotten access to the underground, and you have an objective to defeat the Queen at the Town of Monsters.
I go to Fame March, I check the freebie, I look at the bosses, if any of them are super free. I don't know if Euphoric bought hourglasses, but there are some things in Fame March that he could take fast. But it needs to be fast. Otherwise, I'm leaving Fame March with the knowledge of what that objective is. I'm going straight to Sheila 1, and then I'm going back up to Fubul to check that.
I see that there's 25 sirens in EuphoricLemon's inventory. How would you feel about grinding down here?
Check my freebies. I am hard check my freebies. But after Sheila 1 is done, assuming nothing else is opened, then I'm grinding up to Warp. Depends on what the boss is here. If I think at that point I can take the Fame March and clear that objective, fine. I will do that because check your objectives is rule number 2. And if not, then Dwarf Castle can be on the menu.
See, I look at key in the Fame March chest. That is not going to be entirely required just because we have access to Warp. My preference after going and seeing who this boss fight and the Queen spot is going to go and grind up at least to Warp, maybe a bit higher if I think those levels would let me go and take the Queen spot. But then I would go and do Dwarf Castle, come back, clear the required Queen of Evelyn spot with my levels, unless it's something incredibly rude where I'm just looking at it and saying, no, I'm going to see if I can find the Legend Sword and do the other objectives first.
Yeah, efficient routing is definitely another thing, and all 3 of these bits of advice we've gone over are great pieces of advice in a vacuum. Check your freebies, clear your objectives, and route efficiently. The real tension and challenge in routing is when these conflict with one another.
Ooh. Speaking of conflicting, Queen Evelyn spot. Bonus round, that is Miss Dragon. That's going to go and give us not just 1 key item, but 2.
And clear an objective. That becomes a priority immediately. Also, that blue robe is going to be the gauntlet. Nobody wants that.
This really goes and drives me to Dwarf Castle hard just because I want to see what those 2 items are. Sheila might be free, but in my book, when you have Warp on Palom, Dwarf Castle is pretty free. And for 2 checks, it's going to be faster than the Sheila 1. You can pull a pan that goes and makes Sheila 1 more efficient. If you go and pull 2 other objectives, you then know you have visibility on, alright, I am really close to go mode, I only need a path to Threemus. You might want to just go and do Cave Magnus, burn down the Mythology package, and grind up to Threemus levels to see if that Threemus has a pass or a darkness crystal.
Yeah, Euphoric does have... Avenger's not going to be so hot for Demist. Zerking into a Demist is bold play.
Hey, there's a great way to deal with Avenger on Demist. I believe we've seen them in shops. It's called coffins. You kill off the berserker, let them stop going attacking, and when you get told you're ready to fight again, you bring them back up and cast a blink on them. Great strategy. Nothing wrong with that in the slightest. I don't care if it costs 10,000 gold, like 5,000 gold per round to go and fix it.
As I said, a bold play. Demist cycles between mist form and punch you in the face form, and whenever Demist is in mist form, if you use the fight command, then you will end up taking a cold mist counter, which doesn't hurt all that much, but it is time consuming.
Yes, and to answer a question from chat, Baka, but what about unicorn strats? Avenger will automatically reapply Berserk no matter what, so if you have an Avenger equipped, the only way to get your game to stop attacking is to put them in the ground. Otherwise, if you're just casting Berserk, Unicorns will go and do the job. They will go and cleanse Berserk. The problem is, it will go and still do the next cute attack, and that can go and eat into a lot of time, so you have to be very precise in your timing of your Unicorn. It is something... Oh, go ahead.
You're still talking. You know. Go ahead.
I will go and do that because it is a really, really strong strategy to just go and get your Berserkers, hit doing damage with a melee heavy team like this. Just let them do damage, Cleansing just before you see the third hit will go and make it so that you're probably not going to get any cold mist, or you might see 1 or 2. Definitely a good way of dealing with it. The Avenger, however, you have to go and deal. You can only deal with a coffin or with taking coldness.
And an alternative to Unihorns is the Silver Staff that Paladin's Tessel comes equipped with when you finish ordeals. It will, when used as an item, clear the Berserk as well.
Yes. The big difference between those two is, well, one, you have to have a staff user using it, but that's not terribly hard, because you usually want to have one of those around anyways. Second is the Unicorn will hit everyone in your party, the Silver Staff will only hit one person.
EuphoricLemon is going with your plan, it would seem. Immediately going with Sirens for eggs, and we'll probably be heading to Dwarf Castle.
That, the main reason why I like...
We have not checked Sheila.
Yes. So, here's my gripe with Sheila. After you do your Sheila 1 check, you're not in a position to take any fights. You have to go and rest up afterwards. If you're going to be going to some, like, Cave Magnus is a place that we need to go to. If you can pull a Twin Harp from Dwarf Castle, or the Warp check, you can go and hit that, clear that out, go to, clear out Dwarf Castle, go walk through the Sylph Cave, do Sheila 1, and then go to Cave Magnus where you have that cutscene fight where you're supposed to lose, and just take out your party right away. Like, have Talon cast a virus, have anyone do any amount of damage, and you're just going to be down. And you're all set for going into the Twin Harp fight to be revived by Edward, and hey, look, you're at full power again, and you don't need to take extra time to heal.
Yeah, it is a wonderful thing when you can pull that off. Personally, and the fact that this is a hook seed makes it awkward, but in magma seeds, when I've gone underground, I will often have left Fabul on the table until it was time for Sheila 1, and I will accept double dipping Sylph to immediately get Fabul and Sheila 1. Of course, that doesn't apply here.
Yep, I absolutely agree with that. That is something Fabul is usually one of the last places I'll check in the overworld in the hopes of going and getting a magma key and coming underground to do exactly that.
I mean, And with 3 out of 4 objectives, even with, the objectives as they are requiring so many key items, it's still quite possible to get the train rolling off of any one particular check. Dwarf Castle has 2 checks, and that's its joy, but ultimately, you're just going to have to get to the right spot first. And it's just your choice, your preference, whether you want to do a quick Sheila, and if it's not, then you're not progressing. Whereas with Dwarf, you're progressing towards the known objective by setting up for Warp.
Yep, and we see EuphoricLemon is healing up. Definitely, I believe they're in their mid-30s now, so they are definitely going to have Warp on their Palom, and are going to be more than ready to go and do that. Oh, and it seems that EuphoricLemon sold their Dwarf Axe, which is unfortunate. That is the only weapon to equip outside of combat to back row Kane. You can go and do sneak glitches to sneak Charm Harp onto any character using Edge, but that is something I've never actually done and is a bit more time consuming. Meanwhile, Sathdresh is going and working on that Dolls fight. Does not have Quake on their Palom, and is having a bit harder of a time. They're needing to go and take care of this a bit more carefully.
Yeah, it's going to be a real trick to avoid big doll phase. He's single targeting the purple dolls, which is good. He needs to get down 1 of each, and then take the last 2 out back to back.
You can stop the Cal doll, so you can go and get down to 1 of each, cast Stop on the Cal doll, kill off the Braina, and then give yourself some extra turns to take down the Cal. But depending on what level of paranoid you are, you may want to just be recasting Stop all the time.
Yeah, because how long does that last? Does that last long enough to be a full cycle? Or are you in danger of it wearing off?
It lasts... I believe it depends on the spell power of the person casting it. Palom has good spell power, so it'll go and last a fair bit. But don't want to go and let that Cal get a turn, so I'm a bit paranoid. Finding a Yang here.
Yeah, I've tried some things with Stopcast, only to find that when I get back around to my mage, the person targeting is still swinging, but definitely will take any little bit of an edge you can, sort of situation.
Yeah. That is something that would involve me going and getting Berserks going right away. Like, I would probably starting a Berserk and casting Stop, so that by the time the Brain Doll is actually down, I've got a Berserk, at least 1 Berserk caster, if not 2.
Yeah, definitely.
And we see, Assure is going and moved over to it, moved off of the Cure 4 face onto the Life face, and has now gone and taken a Quake for 8. More health than they have. But hey, we got levels.
We had the unstoppable force of the Avenger versus the immovable object of the constantly healing Asura. And then Quake came and ended that conversation.
Turns out when you drop things down a very large hole, there's not much room for more discussion.
Alan's taking over for Mylon Z and dropping people into deep ravines.
Maybe that's the real reason why Palom was okay to go to ordeals. He was Mylon Z's secret apprentice, took some notes, and really took it to heart.
Headcanon accepted.
To answer a question from chat, are these characters from FF4 or others as well? These are only the characters in FF4. They just simply have... You can rename them before the seed starts.
Well, Spoon's here a little bit late from Luca, although that's a much more sensible necklace than some other things I've seen. Our Work Glitch hands over the Legend Sword. That's Forge.
That's... Objective 1 is complete. And now... Defeat the Queen of the Summoned Monsters is completable. All that's left is complete Cave Magnus or burn down this with the package. I would definitely be grinding until I could go and beat that Threemus, even before Sheila 1, because I know that it would take something very narrow like a Twin Harp into a package to be as good as the 2 checks from Threemus, and if Threemus or the Assura spot gives the package or the Twin Harp, you're 1, going to be in go mode, and 2, have knowledge that you're required to do that fight anyways, because it is gating 2 objectives.
First objective, complete forge. You don't see that often, but here we are.
Indeed, the two item requirement objectives are rarely the first ones to see done, and it is a testament to how rude the seed has been. Speaking of rude, Sathdresh has gotten through their hook route, getting underground just over 57 minutes, and is going to be trying to catch up some time against EuphoricLemon.
Well, we have the apples in the shop. We also have a nice life staff, a Zeus gauntlet, white spear. That's an impressive shop.
That is some nice stuff to see. Do you flex and sell the crystal sword? Do you flex and sell the crystal sword?
No. I have a 100% success rate in summoning paladins by selling crystal swords, and by that I mean I did it once, and I will never do it again. When I'm completely done with character checks.
Look, it's fine. You don't need Cecil. He's got vanilla agility on. He's not really that great. I mean,
look, I see a Zeus gauntlet. I see power shirt. I see bandana. I see Avenger. I see a crystal sword. A Cecil, please. And then I care about nothing.
I see a white mage and think with the levels you're gonna have to take to get her to survive a big bang, you might be going better off with another team. If we find a standard, we'll be fine. We can go and dump form, go and get your Cecil up, all nice and kitted out, and the power couple can go and destroy the true evil of the world without much trouble. But EuphoricLemon is heading back down that Fame arc, but it seems like they're going to feel pretty good about their levels, and I expect we're going to see them take on that D-Mist.
Agreed. Sathdresh takes a quick duck into Sylph Cave to set up the Sheila One and is now heading to Fame Arch for their initial check.
They go and nope out of the underground before doing Dwarf Castle. They'll miss out on the Legend Sword, but they may find something good at Sheila 1, so we'll see how that works out for them.
Yeah, Legend Sword is definitely a big payoff for that Dwarf check. Always good to get the objective out of the way.
Yep, though, if Sheila goes and turns out into being a Twin Harp into a package, that would go and put Sathdresh right back in this, because EuphoricLemon is... There's going to be some time spent in this Mist Dragon fight, I'm expecting. Mist Dragon at this spot is not... Okay, EuphoricLemon is level 40 now. I thought they were a bit lower level. Mist Dragon is going to go and have... They're going to punch hard. They're going to be mean. But I think EuphoricLemon is going to go and have a bit of a better time.
Yeah. She's going to punch. She's got 23k, so 3 cycles, maybe 4, depending on how things shake out. We'll see.
Well, person that shakes out is a dead Talum, so this Mist Dragon is still fast.
So, on the one hand, less cycles. On the other hand, longer cycles.
And Avenger Cane is going to keep swinging even after they turn into mist, so if this doesn't go down in 1 cycle, we're going to see a lot of mist counters, I think.
I don't think 1 cycle. He is up to about 13k now, and we're looking at 20 and change, and now we have mist. So we might be 2 cycles, but they're going to be a long cycle.
Yes. Look, I stand by my stated plan. I like to go and see those coffins come out and just simply remove the Berserk. I may or may not go and take a rather aggressive line towards how my team gets treated.
I mean, some people might say that Kane knew what he did and that he deserves that.
Kane is a serial backstabber. The Avenger just simply goes and turns him into a serial front stabber.
Keep pointed towards the enemy.
Well, we have probably seen half of the coldness we're going to see so far, and another thing about the Avenger is that it does give minus 10 wisdom and minus 10 willpower, which is probably negatively affecting Kane's magic defense, and we're going to be seeing him take a lot of damage. I think... Oh, did EuphoricLemon Cube an attack on Kane to try and get him to stop, only to go and have Threemus come... Yep, Yep. I don't want
to damage anyway.
It's a rune axe. You probably missed half the swing.
Right, even in the anchor spot. Threemus knows where the trouble is, but does not act in time to save herself. And EuphoricLemon has 2 objectives down. There's 1 key item away from go.
Yes. And gets the darkness crystal.
Oh, hey. So, 2 key items. I forgot about a way to Zeromus. Either that or else prophetic. Take your pick.
You're right that we were at the point where we still needed 2 key items, but we're 1 key item away from a crystal. Now we are 1 key item away from a crystal and go mode. And Sathdresh in the meantime is going and getting ready to dive Dwarf Castle. I didn't see the levels on their Palom, but I hope they're close to having nuke, or not nuke. Every spell I care about for Palom is called nuke in my head. I'm sorry. What it comes down to is there's 1 spell that actually matters. It's nuke. Then there's all the other spells which are not nuke. And I keep thinking, I want a spell. Is it nuke? Yes? Well, if I want the spell, of course it's nuke.
Baka, when your only tool is nuking things, everything starts to look like leftovers.
But
One advantage of Euphoric waiting so long to go to the overworld is that they're able to swoop in and do this Demus check along with the Sheila.
Indeed. Getting the Sand Ruby, you can get a Rosa and dump that. I don't want to go suggest that Porum is god-awful, but Porum is definitely the superior white mage, and I would be excited to go and add a Rosa to my team.
I generally agree, but it's a tougher call when you're already up to level 40. EuphoricLemon is going for it, and granted, he's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 key items, so 2 more from double, and Rosa will get double XP until you get close. But I could see this going either way, personally.
Rosa, alright, so at level 40, you're a bit over 300,000 experience, I think? I'd have to go and look hard at those numbers. Bye, Porum. Bye, White Mage. Hello, Rosa. Hello, better White Mage.
Mm-hmm.
So, when a character is more than 5 levels behind the median of the party, they will be getting double experience. Rosa starts at level 10 and is going to need a lot of experience to catch up, so she's going to be gaining double experience for a while.
And Poorly Drawn Bees in chat says, I want Radio's mom to have the package sometime. The best thing is what almost happened to EuphoricLemon. EuphoricLemon entered the village from the left side. If you discover that Radio's mom has the package, you're suddenly stuck. You can't leave on the side of your airship without triggering the package cutscene.
To be fair, that is an objective, so maybe that was a intentional play of, well, if I get the package here, I want to go get that. Also,
you're going to do it right away. And Alicel pointing out, sure, yeah, you could exit. That's fair.
Yep, exit will put you on top of Mist Village as well, so you can go and walk over in Mist Village without entering it when you do that. Also, Alicel, Dem knows my stance on Porum. Dem will go and but she's not going to say I'm wrong. Yes.
Immediately going back underground to get levels on that Rosa. Fading Sheila 1 long.
Not entirely. You definitely want your White Mage to go and have some healing spell. Getting Rosa up to Cure 3 is not going to be a bad thing. Maybe you can hear a little bit closer. But I think you can go and leave Rosa alone for a bit. Just let her take her through some fights. And if you get everything on Earth, you can just do your grinding when you need to get to Zeromus, because we're getting close to 10 key items. EuphoricLemon is at 8, I believe? 9, it looks like.
Oh, 9. Yeah, so Sheila 1 could easily be the 10th key item.
Yeah, that is definitely a time when I would say, yes, let's go and forgo anything else, do Sheila 1, see if I'm getting double experience, and just take a crap ton of levels that way. Ooh, and Sathdresh is taking a wife and going back into Dwarf Castle. That is unfortunate. Also, his Paladin is level 21. He is nowhere near being able to get work. So you can go and do the sealed cave, but warp glitch is a lot faster, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we know that one objective is down there, so if you miss on that legend sword, then you're stuck with having to find both the twin harp and the package to get done.
Yeah, that is not going to be pleasant if you miss that. That is going to be very, very bad. Because we have no visibility on where the twin harp is, and the package could be anywhere. It doesn't gate anything. We've already found D-Mist.
Yep.
Not going to really change anything.
There's a lot of possibilities for rudeness. Either item could be wide open, or we could have the package sitting in Cave Magnus, in which case the twin harp is our only hope, and that one item could be behind that rude gauntlet or behind some sort of spicy moon boss like a vanilla Ogo.
Yep. Yeah, of checks we have left on Earth, we have the Alt Gauntlet at King of Feymarch. We have the Healess Tower check, which I don't believe either runner went and checked the boss. And then we have Sheila 1, which neither of our runner has checked yet.
Yep, those are the only things open on Earth. Everything else is still behind a key item that hasn't been found. Hopefully Sathdresh can get through this wall this time. And get on with the seed. I've been there beating my head against walls, literal or figurative. This one's more literal. It never feels good.
Yeah, this is sometimes the correct choice is to do what EuphoricLemon did and says, yes, let me get a stupid amount of experience and just laugh my way through everything. It does go... Something playing Hard Seas has taught me is, I can get through a lot of things without a lot of stuff. Racing Seeds has taught me, just because I can't get through those spots does not mean I should.
Yes. That D-Mist is a classic example. Especially if you take some time to slow down a D-Mist, you're gonna get through that fight at a Searle one way or another. You might have 3 people drop in cycles, and you just revive them every time, and you'll get through it eventually. But it...
Yes. That said, if you want to have a really long D-Mist fight, try and fight D-Mist at Antlion with starter equipment Palom, or starter equipment Porum and Rydia. No experience.
It was about, you said starter equipment, because the moment you said Porum and Rydia, I'm like, Dancing Dagger, please? Still some, please?
20 minutes of using a rod to beat D-Mist. It was a Cataseed, I did it. But that's what that I learned. No, you don't do if you can avoid it. And speaking of avoiding things, there's Tella. Do you take him?
No, not this late.
I say yes. Tella is a great anchor. He is going to make your Avenger Cane hit even faster. Sid is going to anchor okay. You can throw the Dwarf Axe on him that EuphoricLemon sold. And we haven't seen a Cursed Ring yet.
Valid. Tella is definitely a better anchor than Sid without a curse ring.
And here's the other thing about Tella. Tella can do a lot at level 20, the level he starts at. Tella can cast Cure 4 on a single target and bring them up to full HP. Tella can be revised and cast Life 2 on someone to bring them up to full HP. Tella can do a lot of things without a lot of stats.
Definitely, and there are still a few rude possibilities for bosses where that utility could come in handy.
Yeah, and a second thing, he does have the Berserk spell, which you do have an Avenger Cane. He is your primary source of damage. Having a second source of Berserk is a very handy thing to have. EuphoricLemon probably went the wrong way on accident because I've gone and done that to myself. It's very easy to go and think down the stairs. You go and walk around and you go left into a door. It's just after you go down the stairs, go down another set of stairs, on the right, and then you go left into a door. The lunar subterranean is very confusing for, I think, every runner to navigate backwards because you just know the space-time muscle.
Right. Sathdresh bouncing off the wall again and is now going to go scramble some eggs to get better prepared. Nice move.
Has their battle speed set very low and does not seem to have their Avenger equipped, which that is probably something that is costing them a fair amount. Meanwhile, EuphoricLemon is going into the ribbon spot and is going to find Octomam. This is not going to be a terrible boss. Is going to be punching, is going to hit hard, is going to go and lose some tentacles after 3 hits and stop being so fast. Also, I believe EuphoricLemon is very close to Z levels at this point, so after this, they're going to be getting a lot of experience from these moon bosses and will be going and getting double experience if they get at least 1 key item from one of these 2 checks.
Good chance of that happening. 3 hits takes the first tentacle, and then after that, every other hit, whether it's a weapon swing or a spell for damage, at that point will take out a tentacle, and it gets slower and slower each time, and eventually becomes a numb.
Yes, it is a very, very big thing. Ooh, and Alice going bring up a great point. EuphoricLemon does not have exit. This is something that's easy to forget when you have a high level Rosa and haven't done Tower of Zot, because that's when Rosa learns exit. EuphoricLemon does go and have Warp with Palom, so they can just go and cast Warp a bunch of times to get out of there. Not as fast as exit, still faster than walking.
And we know that EuphoricLemon is going to have to come back out to take care of one of those objectives. So this isn't hypothetical. This is actual.
Look, maybe EuphoricLemon will open the box and go and find some exits. That is a big reason to take
99 times out of 100, exit is the worst thing to find in one of these chests, but this would be the exception.
This is why you take Tella. Tella has exit. He starts with it, even if you don't do ordeals.
Valid.
Also, we found the magma.
Exit. Should have taken Tella.
See, that is why the plan of taking Tella is the true galaxy brain. Always take your Tellas. They're fantastic. They're going to help you out a lot. Even if you keep them dead for all the time you're spending on the moon. They won't mind. It's late. They don't want to stay up this late. They want naps.
Antlion here. It's fine. We'll take your counters. We'll punch you out. Rather here than in Ribbon or at Ogopogo.
Yeah, it's something to be a bit rude because the magic power here isn't absolutely pathetic, but at least the physical attack power here isn't absolutely monstrous like it is at other locations.
Right, that's the thing. So often with Antlion, it's not the counters that get you, it's when Antlion gets around to taking a turn and goes BAM!
Yes, and these moon spots are going to be taking turns pretty quickly because these spots are really fast. Also, I believe Rosa has very much so caught up in experience and has Cure 4 at this point.
And Sid's showing off his durability, takes a shot from Antlion and says, I can do that again.
Sid does not gain a lot of strength, agility, or any casting stat, but he gets a lot of HP. He is going to take hits like an absolute champion. I'll also to go and answer a comment from you. I have gone and taken open random chests in the Lunar Subterranean and found a White Spear one, so I'm encouraged to do it again if I need to. I just, it's very rare to go up to the moon on these flags because when you need 3 or 4 objectives, it's easy to find 3 of the 4 objectives on Earth.
Rude! Rude Elven Bow.
That is definitely not what you want to go and see from a moon spot. Good healing and all, but kind of rude.
Goes ahead and takes it for the levels. Who would suspect? Stops the cabin and we'll be moving on.
On to the Masamune spot, also known as the Ogopogo spot, and sadly we cannot see the best encounter there, the Alt Gauntlet, because we know where the Alt Gauntlet is. We can still see Ogopogo there, and then we have to yell at Poitrak some more, but
Oh, that required alt gauntlet at Ogo. And there was.
It sounds like an amazing amount of experience.
You got your red dragons. You just have so much rudeness there.
Well, this is definitely not a rude fight. The Baron Guards, they can go and be stopped with hourglasses, if we have them. They can also be instantly killed with coffins, which we definitely have.
Coffin, life potion, size because Avenger.
Yep, not even throwing a life potion out to life glitch these guys, which you can. These are one of the, if the boss does not have the life glitch, you can go and life glitch them. But just deciding now, we're done with this. We're going to be stupidly high level at the end of this. Let's try and get to the end of the seed. Ooh, and Palom learning Meteo. Palom is very close to learning Nuke. Baron Key is not the key item you want to find up here. Answer question from Chet. Go ahead.
Kirsten's asking, what is the alt gauntlet? So, the Fabul Gauntlet boss in the vanilla game is the same 5 set of encounters each time, back and forth. The alt gauntlet is a flag where the gauntlet boss draws on the encounters from the area near the boss location.
Yes, so in the blue robe we saw in the Fey March is going to go and pull from random encounters in the path to Fey March. Or if we had the alt gauntlet at the Masamune altar, they would pull from random encounters of the Lunar Core. And if you've ever taken any of the fights in the Lunar Core, you are a braver person than I. I ran from them every single chance I got.
I think you're right, Zedmub, about them being encounters 4 through 8, but I could not swear to that.
I believe that's the most common setup, but there are some changes where if we have 2 spots right next to each other, they will go. Board has set up to go and do different encounters just to let them have some variety. Ooh, and we find Valvalis at the crystal spot. This is actually very unpleasant because Kane's going to go and hit with the Avenger very nicely. Palom's not going to be able to go and hit while Valvalis is spinning, and this spot punches hard. This spot is where Wyvern is. This is the vanilla location of the Crystal Sword. Wyvern does 3 things. He casts Mega Nuke, he casts Wall, he casts Nuke on his wall. As such, this spot has some kind of silly attack power because Wyvern doesn't use attacks. It's not going to matter. We pick whatever number we want. And then we come to Free Enterprise, and our lovely developer report says, yes, we're going to go and use the vanilla stats of the spot and enjoy these punches. If we see one get through, you'll see what we mean.
Sathdresh has made it through that evil wall. Not interested in that yet, understandably. Hopefully gets through this Asura, and hopefully has enough levels on Palom to get a hold of Warp.
I believe looking at Palom's HP, I believe that's enough to get Warp, so going to be in a better location, or better position for that. Borum has Cure 3, I'm pretty sure that Palom has Warp. Finding the discount Crystal Sword and the vanilla location.
That's the second one of those we've seen. Got one from Kokol. One of the big things and exciting things about this flag set is that Sathdresh is by no means out of this race. EuphoricLemon faded Sheila 1. If this moon is haunted and Sheila 1 proves to be the play and Sathdresh gets there quickly, this could turn around. Sathdresh does still need to get to Z levels. So there's definitely that hill to climb, but this isn't far apart as it might look.
Yeah, EuphoricLemon could just be going down a whole bunch of rabbit holes. The only things that EuphoricLemon has found of potential value on the moon is an Excalibur, is a Baron Key, and he's currently stuck walking out of the moon because he doesn't have exit.
Taking that reverse walk, handling it pretty darn efficiently, though. Oh, no, not that way. Not that way. I said something. That's on me.
I believe that is the trapped vanilla crystal gauntlets chest. I may or may not go and...
remember that it was trapped from a vanilla trap seed way back when.
Yeah, Cave Vanilla. It gets really hard to go and forget or see where the trap chests are in the vanilla locations. It's really easy to remember some of the ones like Path to Feymarch, Tower of Zot, Castle
Sylph
Adling.
Cave is remarkably straightforward.
It's easy to remember once you go and actually do it once. It's these 6 chests and that one?
Yeah. It's just pretty straight up.
And now EuphoricLemon is going straight to the Murasame spot where, well, I don't think we have to worry about any surprise boss showing up and wiping them unless it's Ogopogo. Ogopogo is going to open with a big wave and take off half his party's maximum HP, and I don't know if he's healed up after that last fight.
That would be exceptionally rude because that would be, at best, if he saved immediately after taking out Vavalis, he still has to walk all the way.
Okay, Odin's also pretty bad.
And sure enough, had not healed up, so that initial big wave, if it had fired, would have immediately taken out Rosa and Avenger Kane.
Yeah, and Sid would have been in pretty rough shape. Avenger Kane's in pretty rough shape in general. Well,
Avenger Kane showing off some heavy damage. It's 3 swings. We should have a sword coming up.
Yep, we're going to go and see a Lit 3 come down.
It's going to hit for max, and there we go. Got through.
Yep, Odin is a pretty unique boss. In general, he's a DPS check, but there are other more fancy ways to take him out. Ooh, when we find a pan, that is going to take EuphoricLemon back to the earth to go and check Yawling in the Sylph Cave. He will go and do Sheila 1 then, because he's, well, that's effectively 3 checks for EuphoricLemon. The big question is if he goes and does Cave Bahamut, or if he's going to go and just bail on the moon, go back to Earth, chase his chains from here. But that's
making another check that EuphoricLemon left behind, Keyless Tower. So this is another chance to get caught back up.
Yep, if Sathdresh can find a Twin Harp and that Twin Harp leads to a package, that is very good for Sathdresh. He doesn't need to go and kill that Threemus. That Threemus will have given complete bait, and EuphoricLemon will have a very mighty team, but will be in a position of all dressed up and no place really worthy of going because he's going to overpower every boss left on Earth. He's even beyond Zeromus levels by some people's measure.
EuphoricLemon torn a little bit between checking Cave Bahamut or fading it and coming back to Earth. I probably would have checked it. I hate leaving things on the moon, but getting out for all of these spots that are open on Earth is completely.
I would split the difference, leave a save on the moon, go and check the pan, because that is going to be a faster set of checks, and then do Cave Bahamut before the Baron Key. And Sathdresh finding Dark Knight Cecil on top of tower. Dark Knight Cecil is going to do some decent damage here, but with Sid and Kane, they're probably going to have the HP to survive without too much issue.
I'm not sure if either runner knew that this was top of tower, and if they had slipped over, scrolled their viewpoint a little bit so that they could see that coming down the hook route.
I know EuphoricLemon did not. I don't know if Sathdresh did. I didn't catch that. But here's the pan coming out on EuphoricLemon. Let's see what we're going to get from this check. Fine Hanzo Steel.
Just a Masamune. Sell nicely if you wanted more apples. Yeah. No.
I would probably buy more Zeus gauntlets, to be entirely honest.
Valid.
I am on team overwhelming damage means that you don't have to worry about big bangs if you just do enough damage where Romus kind of gives up casting them. Meanwhile, Sathdresh has finished off Dark Knight Cecil, and by finished off, I mean Dark Knight Cecil has finished off half of Sathdresh's team, but has endured the fight and is getting a Crystal Sword from Dark Knight Cecil.
That's not what he wanted.
Well, both runners are now even on the Crystal Sword count.
Some seeds, the Crystal Swords, are hard to find, and you've got to look in the right spot. This is not one of those seeds.
Sheila 1 being a gold apple, the pan being the... Oh, this is disgusting. The available options for Twin Harp or package are Baron Key from the Moon, Earth Crystal from the Pan from the Moon, or Alt Gauntlet at Feymarch.
Or cave value.
Or cave value.
Oh my goodness.
Choreograph, you are truly living up to your name today.
And it's also possible that both of those items are chained behind a tower key hanging out somewhere, although as we start to run out of spots, the ability to chain will become limited.
Yeah, we have limited options in the form of... Honestly, the only way for us to dodge Moon the Seed is for the Alt Gauntlet at King Queen Eblin to have the Twin Harp or the package, and man, that just feels disgusting to say. Sathdresh is going to get his gold apple from Sheila 1, also very keen on making sure doctors stay away, I'm guessing. While EuphoricLemon is selling a lot of stuff and going to have a lot of money. The question is, what do they do?
For that crystal sword, well, you've got an Earth Crystal. It's fair. You've got 2 character checks coming up.
You've got a level 50 team. You don't need Crystal Sword Cecil. You have Nuke. You have a Black Mage with Nuke. You have White. You have an Avenger Kane. You don't need Crystal Sword Cecil.
Look, I didn't say he needs Crystal Sword Cecil. He just might want him.
That's entirely fair, and EuphoricLemon is going... And are you going to go to Zot, or are you going to go and be really greedy and open that treasury? EuphoricLemon is going to be really greedy and open that treasury. That's what
I would not open it. I would go. There's enough power here.
No, I agree with you. This is greed. This is definitely a lot of greed, but let's go see this treasury and give it a rating.
Alright, time to rattle it off. We've got Dragoon Gloves, Samurai Arrows, Grimoire, Dragon Whip, Gaia, Avenger, Full Moon, an Exit, Alchemist, Flame Whip, Shuriken.
That exit would have been real nice.
Avenger, that's cool. We're about to go through Tower of Zot, so the exit is less exciting than it would have been.
And this is also when Rose is going to learn exit, so if there's ever time to pop it, it's actually the lead trick.
Oh boy. What are you going to do?
Free Enterprise is a fun game, and sometimes it goes and gives some jokes that are just even funnier. And EuphoricLemon is going straight up the Tower of Zot.
Looking for the Flame Bog for another chance at some better.
Maybe EuphoricLemon is really hoping for another power shirt.
Maybe one of those Cecils is still rocking that poor standard issue iron armor. I mean, leather armor is better than iron. At least it has some evade.
Yes, and finding a Murasame for the edge that we're totally going to get and then level. You have to use the third adventure. Even if we get Cecil, he has Crystal Sword.
Yeah, 28 in no time flat, and there's your RA2 angle. This is a bad idea, don't do it.
Yep, you have a level 50 team, you can beat Zeromus. The only time you take Cecil is to free up your middle slot and just completely dumpster his agility to be an anchor and somewhere else. But, I mean, this team can reflect kill Zeromus. CPU against double Avenger King.
I mean, good thing we're high level, but we came in, but EuphoricLemon has come into this with an Avenger equip, so we might be seeing some Globe 199s.
2 for 2 on the King's
attack. 2 Avengers. We're just going straight at it.
Thankfully, CPU is probably going to die.
I thought that string was going to do it. That Quake might just blitz through it without even seeing globes. Sure enough. Too much power.
They are level 50. The spot has agility that's intended for a team that's in the level 20s at best. Or not even 20s, like the late teens. But, yep.
And
Kane's
what
just...
happened on Sathdresh's side? Did he take a wipe to a trap chest and decide to take this fight again?
I'm not 100% certain. Maybe they wanted to go and revive their characters? Oh, they wiped to a yellow dragon. Oh, that is... It's really easy to go and take wipes sometimes. I may or may not have played too many Sierra adventure games as a child and have been traumatized into saving as much as possible in different slots. Speaking of rough, double character to see on top of Zot, not one who can use a crystal sword. It's double Rydia. Rydia is the only character who starts at level 1.
Makes a great late anchor if that's what you're about, but...
Looks like EuphoricLemon is all about the...
That was ditched a while back.
Yes. And level 50 is a good level.
Egg!
Never skip leg day. If there's one thing we can go and appreciate by Rubicant, it's Rubicant never skips and skips leg day and sculpts their legs very nicely.
Right.
And Rubicant is now crumbling, is falling to pieces. Meanwhile, Sathdresh has gone and gotten their crystal sword again and is going to be hunting down a... we'll see where they go next. They're probably going to be going back to grind, hopefully taking a extra safety save, because it's really easy to wipe to some things. The yellow dragon eggs seem like they might be free grind fights for us, but they're still dangerous.
Only if you, at best, two-shot them. Better to one-shot them, but if you don't get them on the first go, you better finish it on the second swing.
Yeah, they counter with thunder, which hits your entire party and does lightning damage. And the pan from the moon turns into the earth crystal, a Murasame, and the pass. Convenient, but not progress.
Also convenient is being right here to make the barricade check.
Yep, this is also from the moon. I can see EuphoricLemon wanting to go and follow this up because you want to go and follow through chains from the moon. This is where you've been investing your time. You don't know what your opponent has checked. And if they have checked things on Earth, you are going to be behind if you just try and follow in their footsteps. You need to go and blaze new ground.
Mm-hmm.
So...
these they will fall quickly. I wouldn't be surprised to see EuphoricLemon temporarily bypass the throne and go straight to the basement at these levels.
Yeah, it is technically faster if you know your objective is to complete the Baron Throne. It is faster to go beat the Bygone Spot boss, who we know is King Queen Evelyn, go to the Baron Throne, to clear that out, and just walk out without even going through and clearing Baron Castle properly. But if you don't know, you're then taking the gamble of, well, if it's on the throne, it's going to be the faster fight. If it's in the basement throne, I'll get it faster, but it's going to be a longer fight, and I may still have to go through the cutscenes anyways. And the poor King and Queen Evelyn didn't really stand a chance against two very angry Avenger Gains.
And EuphoricLemon figures, the next fight's going to take about that long. I'll just go straight there.
And it's Darkim, who... or Dark Elf, excuse me. Darkim, sorry, is a different fight. Both of them are some shade of free, depending on your definition of free.
One swing, me change. Another swing, all the day.
And Dark Elf falls to pieces.
Yep.
Dark Elf.
Bam.
Dark Elf second form doesn't even keep the boss bit, so you can go and cast spells like Weak and stop on Dark Elf to go and just make this even less fair.
Does keep the insta-death immunity, so don't be trying Fatal or Coffin, but a lot of other tricks are still available.
Hey, it's a vanilla Sid, because Poitrak...
That's fifth vanilla. Four came in early, and then here was the fifth.
We have a lot of vanilla characters. So we're going to see this key item. We're running out of... It's impressive seeing that key item board on the EuphoricLemon side go and slowly light up around everything except for the 2 specific key items he needs. If we get a tower key, the seed is really being made to EuphoricLemon.
You can't have the crystal without the objectives, and the other 2 are that and the tower key. It's just... Back up!
Yes!
Tower key in the Twin Harp, packaged at the Twin Harp. Give us a full 17 out of 17. Let's see it. Oh, wow.
I hope for jet seeds. I get rewarded with the seeds that are absolutely... Do you want to go 28 out of 28? No? I'm sorry, that sounded like a yes to me, so let's go 28 out of 28.
And actually, as long as package is at Twin Harp, then it doesn't matter whether Twin Harp's here, behind the gauntlet, or in Tower Key, it becomes 17 out of 17s.
Yes. If Twin Harp's here, then it's really mean because you have to go to the moon to get the Baron Key, and then you get your Twin Harp. Or if it's the Tower Key, you have to go to the moon to get the Baron Key, complete Baron Key, your Tower Key, go to the towers, you go and get your Twin Harp. There are no more rabbit holes to find, at least, because we have completely and successfully exhausted all of them. The only rabbit hole left is the one we're required to do.
And although EuphoricLemon is in a good spot, he has to feel behind. There is no way whatsoever that you can have done all of the things EuphoricLemon has done, no matter how efficiently you've knocked them out. And to be at 140 and have 14 key items already is not too shabby, but you've got to feel behind having done so much.
You never feel ahead when you've gone and done as many checks as EuphoricLemon has, and not be done, and not have a crystal in your hand. You are staring at that Discord, you are staring at that race room, and you are looking for the dot to come and crush your soul any second. And every second it doesn't.
Oh, the rudeness, it continues. EuphoricLemon just resets out of that, probably something that would not be repeated on this channel as he did so.
So, Tower Key is EuphoricLemon's last hope for Moon to actually be value. If it is not, EuphoricLemon will go, if he full clears Tower, EuphoricLemon will know exactly where the Twin Harp is.
He'll know it's one of 2 places. Cave value or...
All right. I keep forgetting that's not done yet. I wonder, do you do cave value first, or do you go and do alt gauntlet at Fate March first?
That is a tough call, honestly, and that's a commentary to how long that blue whale, that big whale flight back up to the moon is, because you gotta go back topside, you gotta get in your whale, you've got to do the cutscene, you gotta walk down Cave Bahamut, or you could take several fights at the bottom of the Fate March.
Yep. Well, I mean, Cave Bahamut is not a long fight. Hey, look, here's a Lunar Sparkle. Is it Ogopogo? It's Valdim.
Oh, well, his party will anyway.
Yeah, his party's going to go and take the turn before Paladin gets to do anything, so even Ogopogo won't get the opportunity to be Groot here.
Euphoric's going to head up to the top of tower. If he blindly charges into Dark Knight Cecil, he's going to have some Avengers going at him.
If he charges into Dark Knight Cecil, he's still level 50 and will probably kill Cecil before he gets 2 or 3 Dark Waves off, to be entirely honest.
So, question then. Something I've never known, and that I'm sure you do know. If you swing on Cecil, do you end up taking more Dark Waves, or does the still end after 3?
After 3 Dark Waves, he yells at you for hitting him. He says, no, you must not attack now.
So if you want the justice, you do have to stop swinging.
Yep, and if you really don't want justice, Alan's got Nuke. He's going to survive these Dark Waves.
Right? I mean, you could take the spot down without too much trouble. It's got less
We're-
than 8 hit points, I think.
Yeah, it's got less than 20,000. Nuke will probably do half of it. White can go and do half that if Double Avenger Kane don't go and take enough turns to completely and utterly decimate poor Dark Knight Cecil like in the vanilla game. Dark Knight Cecil is probably feeling real inadequate right now, to be entirely honest, which is appropriate for Dark Knight Cecil. Do feel a bit bad for him. But he is not going to be feeling very good about this fight. His best friend has turned into two people, is stabbing him in the face as opposed to the back, and then the small child just went and microwaved him. So he's really considering that maybe he should have gone up Ordeals and done that quest. Especially, he's holding a crystal sword. That's all the more incentive for him to do that.
Right?
Also, I grossly miscounted the number of dark waves that are going to come off. It was only one. No explanation of, justice is not the only right in this world. Callum showed him the justice of very, very big, glorious spells from a black mage.
EuphoricLemon will be out at the tower soon enough. We'll see what the tower key item is, if it's more rude loot, or if it's finally one of the key items required for go mode.
This is, naturally, of course, we're hoping for this chain of comedy to continue and EuphoricLemon to be going place under even more stress and to get a third crystal sword here.
That'd be a fourth crystal sword?
No, we've only seen two. One was in Castle Eblin, and then the second one was on top of Lower Babel.
Gotcha.
Sathdresh just checked it sooner. We get value from Twin Harp.
It's go mode.
EuphoricLemon now simply needs to
15 to
charge.
17 if the package is there.
Let's hope for the package. For Sathdresh, let's go and hope that the package is at a spot he will do much sooner. But for EuphoricLemon, let's see a 17 out of 17 this seed. And EuphoricLemon learning why you hate the Falcon.
Punch.
This is why the Falcon is awful. When you go and land it in Toria, you get sent back to Barrett with the Enterprise. The Falcon's still parked. This is why the stealth bonus of going into the underground with a tower key on a hook route is that you can land your Falcon immediately and go back to your good airship.
Yes. And Black Chocobo doing their best to get away from EuphoricLemon. I've been there. It's rude.
Yep.
If they're enough, they get some of the white and yellow Chocobos involved.
Oh yeah, it's really mean when a black chocobo jukes you into a yellow chocobo because you get sent out of the forest, have to get off the yellow chocobo, and go back into the forest to find a black chocobo. Also really rude. Mist Dragon! The Sathdresh is fighting that Mist Dragon. I believe they are almost completely out of checks. And we'll be going and getting a Darkness Crystal and a Sand Ruby out of this, should they go and check the Mist Dragon. Or Meridian's Mom and Mist. We will see if they go up to the moon or if they choose something else.
Yep, a lot of perfectly valid options. We know that one way through is to go to the moon and get the tower key.
And Rosa is the only person who does not go and have a piece of metallic equipment on and is not paralyzed. Also, Rosa does not have any very fast spells that will go and do damage. White will go and do it. She might go and get it off before Dark Elf casts Weak. But, you're getting close to...
Probably a quick coffin.
That is a good choice, actually. Also, one, the weak miss, so that's extra amusing. And after that, when we be going and getting the cutscene end, so that's even worse. But also, any items you use in this specific fight are refunded. They don't actually get taken out of your inventory for good.
Good to know.
It is a very helpful thing to know. You can go and use a kamikaze to kamikaze one of your characters into another character. But I'm also going to be quiet because we're about to get something more interesting than the sound of my voice. I know. impossible to believe, but it's going to be some interesting music. And we are getting a beautiful rendition of Chrono Trigger's Frog's theme, cut very short by the fact that this is Elements. Kane does 4,000 points of damage, and there's a lot of other things to talk about, but we are going to see what this is. A white shirt so package is either at the King Queen Evelyn spot, right next to where Sathdresh is, or on the moon at Cape Bahamut.
Which could both be very quick checks for Sathdresh, but probably not quick enough.
Yes. EuphoricLemon is at Zeromus. Okay, Zeromus excessive levels even. Level 55 Kane, level 52 Rosa, level 54 Palom. Might have a problem if he doesn't go and do any check his agility and goes in with that Sid Anchor, who is probably not 28 agility. But we're probably going to completely overpower Zeromus.
Yeah. I hesitate to call any Zeromus free fight because Zeromus is rude and will punish that hubris. But this party is definitely a winnable fight.
Yes, though you don't want to go in with your Avengers on. One of the things that happens with Zeromus is before he transforms, every time he shakes, he's actually cleansing all of your buffs. And if you do that with an Avenger equipped, your Canes might never take a turn. Which would be very bad for you, EuphoricLemon, unless they are very comfortable with your reflex strats and are fine with going and having two melee fighters just stuck.
And after an hour 50 and 16 out of 17, goodness knows anything can happen, but for your own reference, EuphoricLemon, the cabin there was not needed. You get a full heal from Zeromus.
Yes, there's a number of full heals in this fight, and Zeromus in the middle of the game will go and full heal your party. Also, I'm seeing a lot of these Z flags out in chat. Do you know what that's about, Commander?
I think they're trying to tell me it's bedtime.
Okay, yeah. Nap time. It's always been 2 hours. It's definitely been too long. No, when we get to Zeromus, we don't go and bring him into the boss pool. We can't go and move him around. He's a bit too mean, he's a bit too complicated, and he's the final boss of the game for a reason. But as a randomizer, we can't go and just leave him alone. We have to do something, so we have to give him a makeover. So when we get to this point, we like to ask a certain question. Would you do the honors, Commander?
The question is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
One of over 450 glorious butts, crafted by either our wonderful developer Boardface or the ever-lovely Scala Kitty.
And sure enough, Zedmud, the Avengers are still on, so we'll just have to hope that they don't get stuck.
Yep, that is, if they do get stuck, I hope EuphoricLemon is okay with doing reflex traps.
Hey, Scala. It's your boy.
Scala, how many Sephiroth sprites have you added to the pool? 4, you said.
Nice.
That's the odds in your favor. I don't blame you. He is a glorious villain who is very popular, and also this Zeromus is very fast, and those games are not doing anything. Okay, they have started attacking.
That cane is good. We have one cane go.
All right, the canes have started attacking again. This is going to be fine. The worst thing that's going to happen is we're probably going to see a lot of damage come out from our melee fighters. Threemus is probably going to be pretty fast, but the canes are also going to be really fast. And Pavel's going to reflect some nukes. So I think we're going to see a lot of damage come out on EuphoricLemon's side.
Scala, making all of the beautiful Z sprites that are such a wonderful part of this randomizer, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like it's for the same version of Sephiroth. It's not even 4 versions of Sephiroth in slightly different poses. It's 4 very different Sephiroths. So I can only go make fun of you so much. But I will tease you as much as I can. The 4 Sephiroths, this one, the Advent Children / Remake, Kingdom Hearts 2, Bizarro, and Safer Sephiroth. Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts 2 one is definitely a very unique look for Sephiroth as well. Not going to go and disagree with that. But Commander Leonhardt is having a rather standard Z fight when you have 3 Berserkers and a White Mage. You let them berserk, and then you sit back and cast your 4 with your White Mage when they're
It is the most straightforward way to take a Z fight, and as long as you've got the hit points to handle an unnerved Big Bang, which EuphoricLemon definitely does, it'll get you through pretty clean.
Yeah, that's Berza has 2500 HP. Big Bangs cap out at 2700 damage. If Rosa has that white shirt, I'm pretty sure the math says she is never actually going to die. Ooh, okay. This might be a little dicey. Queuing up a direct cast white, that might kill one of your party members, because when you cast spells on Threemus, he counters usually with nuke. The exception is white and Medio. He counters those with weak.
It is definitely a bit aggressive. Where this hits, if it bounces back on Rosa, suddenly you're just looking at 3 Berserkers. But no counter because it tipped straight into Medio phase.
And Rosa dodges the rocks. We are almost done. This is what happens when you're at 12,000 HP. And there is the flash. Sephiroth has been defeated, and EuphoricLemon is our winner. Going at his time as soon as we can.
This does make EuphoricLemon 1-1, still alive to make it into the big 2-1 race. This is going to put Sathdresh at 0-2, and they will still have the chance to play their last match.
We're joined by EuphoricLemon. GG's EuphoricLemon. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Very good, thanks. Nervous. First restream match, but it went well. I thought, at least.
That it did. So, this is a bit of a question. You are on a 15-minute delay. I am curious, did you watch the spoiler log?
No.
Okay, because I was going to ask you if you knew where the package was.
No, I did not pay attention to that.
That is incredibly fair. And so how are you feeling when you're at 14 of 17 key items, and the 3 things you're missing are the crystal, the twin harp, and the package?
My heart sank the further I got into the moon, and then when realizing I was fading the tower, I got so worried. I'm like, oh shoot, don't tell me it was at the tower. But the longer it went on and there was no dot done, the more relaxed I kind of got. So I'm like, okay, he's got to go down the same rabbit hole I am. But at first, it was a lot of panic.
Very understandable. It is never pleasant to be in the very late go mode and not have visibility on your crystal.
Yeah, that was, wow.
It was a rough seed in terms of routing and how to get about it. That hook start wasn't pleasant, to be sure. But you handled it well. What are your thoughts heading down that hook route as far as getting ready?
Well, getting ready immediately when I saw my party makeup, and I was not really concerned about who was in Eblin Cave. Immediately, I was gonna go to Eblin Castle and look for those monster chests to get some extra levels, just in case the hook seed was gonna be mean to me, because the seed was already being mean. So that turned out well, because I think I found the Avenger there, or I found a second one there, or something like that. I know I found a good item in there, and the Zeus gauntlets as well. So it panned out quite nicely. I was a little worried when I didn't get the life glitch off a couple times, and I was missing out on that Quake level, but it worked out in the end, getting it on the last monster chest in the tower. And yeah, that was my thoughts going into it, was just getting as many levels as possible and setting myself up in case it was a bad boss waiting for me at the top.
Yeah,
It
that's
was a young seed, by the way. A lot of young.
So much young. Vanilla at Baron Inn, hanging out in Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, that the characters you were offered were pretty interesting. Starting, the only white mage you saw for a long time was that Porum, and you did get a glimpse of that Rosa. How long was that Rosa lingering on your mind?
The whole seed. Rose is my girl. I don't like Porum low HP. It always scares me, especially with big bangs, if I don't nerf it properly. So I like Rosa for her extra tankiness. So the second I got that sand rupee and it wasn't like an out of the way check either, I jumped on it. I was very happy. A little sad we didn't get a Cecil or an Edge after all those Murasames, Mazamun, two crystal swords.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But at the end of the day, you were able to put together the most straightforward of Z fights, Zerg it up, and hit Cure 4 over and over.
Yeah, exactly that. You summed it up. Those are my thoughts. Just keep it simple. And that's why when the Paladin went down, I wasn't too worried. Just straight up cure them, let them do their thing. Especially Kane with that power robe and Zeus gauntlet. He was a beast. He put in a lot of work for me.
Yeah, you got that pink tail. The first Avenger came from that pink tail, which how did that go and change your thinking when you saw that you were committed to a hook route, or likely committed to a hook route, and then you have a Kane and you get an Avenger?
It made me a lot happier. It relaxed me a little bit, because I like Kane Avenger combo. That's one of my go-tos for melee. And especially after that Wyvern fight that led into the pink tail, I was like, okay, it better be something worthwhile. Like, after that, because I got concerned, like, uh-oh, it was only the pink tail. Maybe he's going to fade it. That gives him an early advantage. So I got a little worried, but I figured I'd see it all the way through, and it was the Avenger, so it worked out. I don't even know if Sath did that check or not.
He did go and do that check. He took a wipe and had to come back to it, but he did go and get his Avenger. He struggled a lot with a number of different fights. He struggled with the hook path. He struggled with the evil wallet baron at Dwarf Castle. He did not take as much experience as you did, so that went and left him a bit underprepared for some fights.
Yeah, that's one of my go-tos lately, is if I have sirens like that in Evelyn and it's through a hook, to prepare, especially with that Palom needing warp. I immediately was like, okay, I'm going to drop at least 5 or 6 sirens. And I didn't know when I was going to get that Rosa with the Sand Rupee, so I figured I might as well get some extra levels for Porum at the same time, beef her up, just in case I'm stuck with her. I mean, I might as well get her the experience anyways.
That sounds entirely reasonable. That Rosa certainly went and caught up rather quickly, all things considered.
Oh yeah, I gave her a nice slingshot. So it was good.
You've made it to 1-1. One more win to get into the player race. Feels better than 0-2, but generally, how you feeling going forward?
Good. It's a lot further than I thought I'd make it. So having 2 combined victories through the rounds makes me quite pleased. Everything else I'm just having a great time, honestly. It's the fun I'm having that's making it.
Well, I'm glad you're having a good time. This is what are some of your general thoughts on the flag sets you've been playing?
Well, I'm a little worried if we go to the bracket flag set. I haven't practiced that enough. I practiced the group ones quite often, and I seem to always end up with Edge for some strange reason, but never get him in the tournament races. But I am a little concerned if I do make it to the bracket stages. But that's why we practice, right? So.
No, that is definitely, the table flags are definitely very different flags. They require very different strategies, and they are definitely a step up in rudeness. But I also want to respect I'm doing group flags, stay focused on group flags. It is something that's very important to go and do, in my opinion, just so you don't go and get mixed up between strategies.
No, exactly. That's kind of the way I looked at it. I'm trying to respect the group stages, and I don't want to get mixed up playing different types and swapping back and forth. Just focus on one thing at a time, and then move forward. Cross that bridge when you come to it.
Exactly.
One match at a time, absolutely.
Well, with that, I believe we're going to go and let you go. Congratulations on your victory. You've done very well in this race. I'm looking forward to your match next week.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. The guys and ladies, thank you to everybody. And everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Good night.
Good night.
That was EuphoricLemon. Congratulations to him on the win. Sathdresh takes the second shot at the Knazo, which we know from EuphoricLemon's spoiler log holds the package and will be go mode. Did take a wave, but had blunted its damage with a lightning 3. The damage that Knazo deals with the wave is always 4% of his remaining hit points, so if you can get in some strong shots quick, it can help you weather the storm.
Yeah, Knazo in high HP spots is something that you really need either to be able to pull out a bunch of damage and just drop down that HP so those waves don't hurt. Ooh, Hallam going down is a real big problem for Sathdresh, just because Hallam's doing the lit 3s to dispel the waves was a very important thing to get done. And now we're going to be seeing waves coming out, and Porum is going to be able to heal, but if she doesn't have enough healing to go and survive the waves, this might get very dicey for Sathdresh.
Fortunately, Sathdresh has landed 2 lightning 3s with water on, so you're looking at almost 20k of the hit points gone there. Chip in a little bit from the warriors. He's probably down in the... If he's at 15k, then that means this wave is going to hit for about 600, and everyone would survive that without too much trouble.
Yeah, that's a very manageable amount.
Now, Hallam might get life lunged straight into a wave, and that's a thing. Let's see.
Yeah, that would be life one coming out, going to go and try and get him up, but there's that wave you predicted.
And even less than the 600 I'd estimated. So Sathdresh should be getting through this fight before too long, even without getting Hallam up. Should just be able to knock Knazo into the shell before the remaining waves take him down the party.
Yeah, spending some time getting their party up. At this point, I think you just have to accept whatever party members you have up are the ones you need to go and do focusing on, because we know another wave is coming out very shortly. There's the Gathering the Water. Next turn for Knazo is going to be a wave. We are on low battle speed, it seems, so Sathdresh is going to be getting all of his actions, but I don't know if he's going to be getting turns fast enough to go and heal up these characters before the wave hits.
Yeah, I agree. I think you just keep beating on him until he goes into the shell, and maybe then, if you just can't cut through the remedies, get Hallam up and drop an Ice 3 on him, because when Knazo doesn't have the water up around him, Ice is his weakness instead of lightning.
Yep. Here comes a wave, gonna go and hit for not too much damage, and we do go and see our runners. Alright, we're in the hiding in the shell, so we're going to go and we're at the safe phase of the fight, though it's going to take a bit just because each time you hit Knazo, he's going to counter with hiding in the shell. It increases his defense, he changes his script, and it is going to take a bit of time to get through it just because the remedies are going to come out and be healing as well for 10% of Knazo's maximum HP. And if you can't go and out DPS that, this will go and definitely slow things down a bit.
And if you're really behind on the remedies, he can heal himself to the point where he will pop back out of the shell and go back to throwing waves.
Yeah, and that's 3,700 healing. That is about how much. Not insignificant. That is about what the melee fighters are doing. We need to go and get some berserks out on the fighters just to go and keep up the damage. Also, Sathdresh queuing up a Lit 3, which it will do quadruple damage when Kane has gathered water, but otherwise, as Commander Leonhardt mentioned, you want to be casting Ice 3.
Well, as you pointed out, the warriors are handling just enough damage to counter the remedies. So if that holds true, then eventually this Kainazo is going down off of its damage.
Yeah, if they can get, if the Berserkers alone are going getting 2 hits per 1 remedy. There we go, Kainazo is down.
Well done, Sathdresh. Kainazo and a moon spot is no joke. Good job going back for a second try and taking him down. Your reward is Goma.
Yes, there's the package. Time to go and get your Z levels and get ready to take on that Threemus.
And we'll get to see what the Mist Sprite is. Yay!
Indeed, because in addition to randomizing the Threemus sprite and the music at Twin Harp, we also randomize what is in the package to burn down the Mist Village. And this is confirmation that Moon was required. You were required to defeat the D-Mist at the Town of Summon Monsters to get a Darkness Crystal to get one of 2 different objectives. And it is a bit unfortunate for EuphoricLemon that they chose to do the very deeply buried Twin Harp that was behind the Tower Key that was behind the Baron Key.
Now, honestly, I said I would have looked at Cave Bahamut, but if I saw that turtle there and still had all those open checks on Earth, I would have noped out real fast.
Yeah, that is... Kainazo can be a very, very rude fight. It can be a very technical fight and hard to deal with sometimes. And you really just kind of need... it's an ugly fight. I don't like taking it if I'm...
It is ugly. Like, so much. Like, I mean, a Z fight can make or break on the first round. Getting the first round clean versus stumbling a little bit of your actions and not being fully set up when the first big bang comes through, even if you nerf it. Kainazo, even more so. Getting through the early part clean. Just the difference there. Even though Sathdresh didn't short circuit the first wave, he blunted it severely just by getting the lightning damage in, and it made all the difference.
Yeah, being able to go and make sure that Porum survived that wave was very important. Just making sure Porum survives in general. When your White Mage goes down, the rest of your team follows pretty quickly. It's something that, it's a big reason why people don't like Porum, because you can see Porum's at level 43 and has only 1200 HP. It is really easy to knock down a character with only 1200 HP at those levels.
Yeah, and with Sathdresh not finding Twin Harp, that means Sathdresh is not going to find a white shirt for that Porum to help her stand up to those big bangs. He might remember the apples in Kolkol's shop and come in here at the end after his grind for a massive purchase.
Yep.
Or there could just be a big struggle.
Yeah, this is... Threemus is a fight that we do a lot, but he is definitely not free. He is easy to go and get complacent with. Also, I believe Sathdresh is at 10 key items, despite not turning in their package to get a crystal, and should be getting double experience from these eggs.
It's like parrying around for a quick virus. Column should be high enough level to one-shot with the virus, which has a quicker charge time and a quicker animation cast.
Yep, and definitely don't want to go and take extra hits if you can, because hatching that dragon egg can be very dangerous, as Sathdresh has seen in the past. And Sathdresh is remembering to go and increase their battle speed, because Battle Speed 6 lets you get a lot of turns, but Battle Speed 6 also just costs you a lot of time.
For those rude fights like that Wyvern or that Kainazo, completely justified, but you don't need to.
Yeah, there is the important balance between staying at the high battle speed to have quicker actions and getting into a making sure you're maximizing the number of turns you're getting. It's I will shamelessly go, and if I know Wyvern's in a very unpleasant spot that's already killed me once and I can't get a run buffer off, battle speed 6, throw up my Star Veils, shields to full, reflectors to full power.
If I'm coming to Baron Castle late enough and I haven't seen that Wyvern, then once I get through that Bygone spot, I'm probably preemptively lowering the battle speed, because please don't make me walk through all that again.
Especially if it's also Golbez there, that could be even another form of... But we do see a grind coming on. We see the party just going through the turns, getting around to Palom. It may be worth it to go and put Palom in a higher priority slot so that he can go and get his turn faster on some of these first strikes. Because he is currently in the lowest priority slot. The slots go middle, top, bottom, top, middle, bottom, middle. Or in Sathdresh's order, Sid, Kane, Porum, Palom.
Yeah, and the only thing that's going to disrupt that is if someone in a lower priority slot can get their turn queued up faster because they have much higher relative agility. But Palom's agility growth is nothing to write home about, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It makes Palom an excellent anchor. If you slap a curse string on Palom, he has low enough agility to put the rest of your party at RA1, but his wisdom growth is so phenomenal that even without any other stat boosting gear, he can still contribute respectably to a Z fight. And if you find some of the other lovely things like a good rod or maybe a solid robe, then you'd be surprised what he can do wearing a curse string.
All else fails, use Bluff a few times. They'll go and give him plus 16 wisdom each time he uses it. And it'll cap out at 99 wisdom, but that's going to go and do a lot.
Yeah, that's another good point. If you don't have the stat gear, just a little bit of a bluff here and there. Z-Shake should clear off a bluff, Baka Shinomi.
Bluffs are not a buff. Berserker is a buff. Fast is a buff. Wall is a buff. Bluff is a stat change. And the only thing that will change your stats is changing your equipment. So don't go and change his equipment.
So if you're really determined to take down Z with Palom and you're feeling a little shaky, feel free to just stare at Zoromus shaking over and over and queue up a couple of bluffs.
Yes, that is Zoromus or Zenus will go and start casting Meteor if you take too much time. But you can go and get some turns off to get into more ideal position and get yourself set up a bit better. But here, Sathdresh is going to burn down the package and discover a second forum.
Edward! No! How could you?
Edward has a fire in his heart, his burning love for Anna. Not the appropriate place to go and show that off, though, and definitely not the appropriate way. You do not want to literally burn down your venues, Edward. I know you're a musician. I know you're a man of burning passion. I know you really go and like to jam out those tunes. This is not the way to go and advertise.
Edward misunderstood when the request came in for the song Burning Down the House.
He also thought the request for "We Didn't Start the Fire" was an accusation and not something different. And here the White Wizard is calling the Titan to go and send everyone into the cutscene and bring Kane down to critical HP because he was just barely on the line. Meanwhile, poor staring at her other self just avoids the quake entirely, and it's just, who is this devilishly handsome child?
That's a crystal. You don't even have to walk over to Kaipo Inn to clear the objective. You also get a full heal. Not that it matters when going straight to the Z fight, but still good to know.
It is amusing all the different places you get full heals in the overworld in the opening sequence. You get one coming out of the package, you get one coming into the Kaipo fight, you get one coming out of the Kaipo fight, you get one going into the Fabul fight, you get one coming out of the Fabul fight, you get one going to the Mount Ordeal's final fight, you get one coming out of the Mount Ordeal's final fight, you get one coming out of Barrett Inn. That is 8 different full heals on the overworld.
And you get one when you complete the Tower of Zot.
That's right. That's 9. And you also get one when you start the Twin Heart fight for realsies this time. So that's 10.
10 full heals.
And Sathdresh is now going to have to go and walk down the lunar subterranean because the pass was at Zot, which was behind the pan, which is on the moon.
And Sathdresh is taking a moment to look over the agility numbers of his team. Probably not liking what he's seeing. I'm seeing 21, 26, 23. Agility! We could have spent the whole stream talking about relative agility. So, Cliff Notes version.
If you're more than 2.5 times faster than the agility anchor, who is your central slot character, if Cecil's not in your party, you are relative agility 1, taking maximum turns. Anything other than that, there's more math involved on that doing. Every ATB advances your turn. If you have a really, really slow anchor like this Tela here, with this 8 starting agility, you can make all of this team relative agility 1.
Yes. Specifically for Zeromus, these agility shenanigans also affect your opponents. The faster your anchor is, the slower Zeromus is. So, ideally, you get your anchor to a spot where you just got Zeromus to a slower speed, and then no more, because anything beyond that is just going to potentially slow down your party. One of those magic numbers for Zeromus is agility 28. That is the number you need to reach to take him from RA1 to RA2. So 26 is horrible news. It doesn't do anything to slow down Zeromus, and it does all kinds of things to slow down your party.
Yes, this is the exact opposite of Price of Right rules. Being just under but not quite is the worst place to be in. You want to be just, if it's choice between 27 or 29 agility, you want to be 29 agility. You want to go and make Zeromus relative agility 2, because 28 and 29, that's maybe going to shift around 1 or 2 of your characters. 27 to 28, 27 RA1, 28 RA2 Zeromus, you want the RA2 Zeromus.
Definitely. But Sathdresh might have some gear on hand that will tweak some numbers. Ninja Hat or Crystal Ring would be very welcome right now.
Ninja Hat definitely go fix that. You can go and throw on that forearm, put her in the middle, bring up to 29 agility. You are now having in possession of a perfect Z anchor. If you don't want to do any agility manipulation, put one of your canes in the middle. They're 38. 42 is we'll go and take Zeromus from relative agility 2 to relative agility 3. Would be really nice to have him at that, but better to have him at RA2 than RA1, and the rest of your team in a very awful position.
Some other notes on manipulating agility. If you have weapons that affect your party's agility, then you can come into battle with them equipped, and the relative agility of everyone in combat will be calculated at that moment. Once that happens, nothing you do will affect it. You are free to swap out Artemis bows or anything else that's affecting your agility for other weapons, dwarf axes, and carry on with the rest of the fight.
Yep. Also, I'm noticing Bottom Cane is using a silver sword. That is...
feels bad.
Yeah.
That cane is... oof.
Sathdresh found a white spear in Upper Babel the first time he went into the Calbrina fight, but he didn't take it the second time.
Oof.
So Sathdresh, I don't know if he's aware that the Avenger is also a two-handed weapon and you need to take off the shield to be able to equip it. But that is probably a big source of what Sathdresh's difficulties have come from. He has had absolutely awful weapons for his cane. The Gungnir is a good weapon. The Silver Sword is barely better than a wind spear. Actually, I think it's technically worse. It's not a good weapon for Kane.
Well, Sathdresh is dialing to battle speed 6. Definitely, if you're feeling shaky about a fight, dialing down the battle speed is a perfectly valid tactic, and trying to heal with a low hit point Porum and the weapons that he's got, I would feel shaky too.
Yeah, this is if you're going for reflex strats as well, low battle speed is very good, so you don't go and lose turns. You definitely want to go and have as much stuff taking as many turns as possible. You can go and do a lot of unique things with the reflex strats. It is a very good way to kill Zeromus. Maybe Sathdresh is going to do that because he doesn't really like the weapons on his team.
Maybe, and that could work. Maybe something kind of in the middle. The key to reflex strats is that partway through the fight, Zeromus refills his hit points because the developers wanted to give him more hit points than the system could handle. But the catch is that the refill is treated like a counterattack, and counterattacks do not respond to spells bounced off of walls. So you can skip that part of the fight entirely if, as you approach that point, you stop dealing direct damage and rely exclusively on reflex spells.
Yep, and if you want to play the fancier version, the PSP version that's pretty much the SNES version but looks nicer, they fix it in that. So, this is something that you will only be able to go and use in the lovely SNES version. And now we're going to get a second showing of Sephirothmas.
Dun 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 dun.
There is a weight here in his inventory. He still has it. This is a very big upgrade. Please equip it. Yes, yes.
Yes, please do.
Damage. Use
Whip
that
it.
pocket. Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Sathdresh is merely waiting for the perfect opportune moment to reveal his true strength and defeat Sephirothmas with holy power.
Arr!
Reveal your might, Kane. If we're going a bit after years, embrace your lessons from Mount Ordeals, become the Holy Dragoon, and unleash the holy wrath upon these fiendish enemies.
And we are going to see some reflecting, it looks like. There is a Star Veil up on Palom, so looking for some bounce nukes. Has a Silk Web been... I don't think a Silk Web has been thrown, but we are at battle speed 6, so goodness knows we've got plenty of time to make that happen.
Yep, though you probably want to go and do that shortly, because unnerfed Big Bangs really hurt. I mentioned previously that Big Bangs can do up to 2,700 damage. The what is called rolls are based on your magic power. You go and get a number of just do damage between 1 and this value, and between X and Y value. And with Big Bang, it caps out at 300 damage per roll. Zeromus will go and change his magic power throughout the fight, and depending on what his magic power is, he will go and do more or less have a higher or lower maximum cap on his Big Bang. Getting this nuke will go and bring it down to the spell power based on this nuke, which nuke's a really powerful spell. If Zeromus cast at the same spell power he casts Big Bang, he would probably just always destroy one of your party members. So instead, it's a bit more fair. And then it gets a lot less fair for Zeromus when he casts his Big Bang, that is not going to be able to do more than 1,000 damage to pretty much anyone. Okay, fine. Porum taking 1,000 damage is a bit concerning, because that was a nerf Big Bang.
Yes, but it was nerfed, and it was nerfed with the slow, which, if you do not have a Silk Web, is a great choice. Silk Web will slow someone down as much as possible immediately. It works as a double slow, but one slow is still better than nothing.
Yes. A single slow to go and nerf a Big Bang is the big thing you want to go and get is to get a counter nuke off to go and when Zeromus goes and prepares to do a Big Bang after the first one, he has a script of shake, wait, set spell power, then cast Big Bang. In order to properly time a nerf, you need to go and get Zeromus to cast a nuke after he has set a spell power, but before he has gone and cast Big Bang. It is 2 sequential turns, so you have to really know your ATB and when these ticks are going to happen, when these turns are going to happen, which are invisible and have no animation until the Big Bang is being cast.
Yeah, it is a very well-timed thing to nerf any Big Bang, other than the first. The first one, just slap him anytime before the initial Big Bang, just as long as he's made himself vulnerable and you're home free. Everything else you say requires some very good script and ATB knowledge. Or maybe just a little luck.
Yeah, that's it's kind of the right time, right? Is can go and get you through it. If you really want to go and do some very specific strats, you really have to know your Big Bang timing. And there are some runners in this tournament who will absolutely be able to go and show that off. They'll absolutely be more than happy to show that off in some of their races, I'm thinking. As there are some strats built entirely around specifically nerfing Big Bangs and taking the nerfed amount, because your characters will only have 1200 HP.
Now, for one of those strats, your character is the only person standing and has a wall up. So you're free to just hammer Zeromus repeatedly with things that will trigger the counter nuke, bounce off the wall, and even if one of the timings is a little bit off, as long as you make sure to get one in there at the right moment, you're good. So that's a little easier to make sure you get your nerf under those circumstances. But
yeah.
Still gotta make sure it happens.
Also, sometimes you get a nerf that hits your white mage, like this Porum, and Porum goes straight down from the nuke. Not the situation you want, because you really want your white mage alive to cast that very nice Cure 4 spell. Also, Zeromus is not casting Big Bang right now, it seems, because we may have hit what's called a phase change. Zeromus, as we were mentioning with the Reflect strats, you can go and prevent the counter from going and hitting off, the HP refill counter from going off if you go into Reflect spells. If you don't do that, then Zeromus will kind of pause in his script, refill his HP, and start doing a different script, sending it all the way back. So even if you had nerfed a Big Bang, Zeromus stops trying to cast that and goes back. So you get some extra time, and here's another shake. This is going to be scary for Sathdresh.
3 Zerkers up might give him time to slip something in. I say might because I'm one of those people that would be nerfing on a prayer now, as opposed to you, where you have the script down.
I have the script down on a very specific setup where Relative Agility 1, I know all the turns. Non-Relative Agility 1 setups, I'm a lot less certain.
That doesn't look like Sathdresh is even going for the questionable nerf. Just tries to get a Cure 4 in time. I like it.
At least going to top off the Zerkers. Porum is unlikely to survive an unnerfed Big Bang. Hallam is getting a reflected nuke off. This is going to be a bunch of damage. He's done a lot already. We might go straight into media phase. Or we might just be done.
Oh, hey, nice. Well done.
Sathdresh has finished with an official time of 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 44 seconds. GG's Sathdresh.
Howdy, thank you.
Congratulations.
That was a fun seed.
It's a good way to describe it.
found like nothing for Kane at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did find a white spear, and then I thought I equipped it, but I guess I didn't, so I ran through like half the game with Battle Speed 6 on because I kept forgetting to turn it off every time I realized it. I was like, oh yeah, I need to turn that off, and then I'd go do something else and then get into a fight and realize, oh yeah, I'm on Battle Speed 6 again.
I think you equipped it for a fight and then had to reset when it didn't go your way, and then just didn't get it back on.
Yeah, that was probably the Calbrana fight, because it was Upper Babel, I think is where I found it, like right there next to King Queen spot.
You got it.
Yeah.
It was a rough one, no doubt about it.
It was fun though.
Props to you, by the way, for getting through it and for knocking down that Kainazo fight. Kainazo up on the moon, particularly in that spot, no joke. Good job punching down the damage on that initial wave.
Yeah, I had a feeling that I was gonna need to clear that spot. I don't know. I usually always have Bahamut hiding something, so it just happened to be packaged, which I was very happy about. So I just ran back down. It was like, all right, I'll have to grab some sirens because I was hoping to just grind on the moon with some of the moon bosses, but since I had to come back down anyway, might as well just farm there.
Yeah, that was very valid. Your opponent did go and find an alternate way to Threemus, but that was through some rather unpleasant chains, so very good for you to go and get that package in Cape Bahamut.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I guess it pretty much calculated. Otherwise, it would have been. I was dreading to go and clear the whole moon because I was like, I'm already there. I need to just find some sort of progression item to move on.
Yeah, that was definitely. It was rather rude that you were required to go and get through that demist at Queen Evelyn, which is not a kind fight in a number of different ways. If you get to the moon, you get one of two key items that would take you back to Earth to do something. Either you would go and get a package to burn down Mist, or you would get Twin Harp, or in this case, a chain that leads to Twin Harp eventually to go and do.
Oh yeah, what was the Twin Harp song? Dang, I don't know any of it. I know I didn't.
Frog's theme from Chrono Trigger.
Oh, that's amazing.
Also, if you have gone to the point of seeing the solar system in the credits, you can go to Edward in Toria, talk to his harp, and that will go and play the song for you.
Yes, I found that out earlier this tournament, so it's very good to know.
Yep, that is something for any of our reviewers who have looked into that. That's something that was recently added. So, if you ever have a song that is near and dear to your heart, you can beat a seed and just load it up sometime and listen to it.
It's a great little Easter egg, I must say.
It is a really good one. Well, you definitely had a very, very rough path through that sea when you were going and grinding. You were going and getting ground down by bosses frequently. Were there ever points where you were tempted to go and just stop and grind for a while, or what were your thought processes dealing with those bosses?
Yeah, I definitely felt my early game was a little shaky at best. The reason I went to ordeals and everything like that was just to try to get a little bit of levels up before trying to tackle the hook route, and it kind of paid off a little bit, but each fight I seem to have a little bit of issues with, like the ogres. That was a fight.
The ogres are a very rude fight. It is very easy to go and take a lot of painful wipes of those ogres. I
really wanted that XP, and then I forgot to do the life glitch on it, and I was like, oh well, I'm not gonna reset. We're just gonna take it and go.
There are so many things to try and keep track of in these, even just during a casual practice run, much less a race on the stage. It's a testament to some of our better runners that they make it look so easy when it really isn't.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of talented people in this, and I'm just getting into it now, so
You and me both.
it will get better. But this was definitely a lot of fun. I don't know, since that was my second loss in here, I think that puts me out now. Sure.
It does. You can play your last match. You say, hey, you'll get scheduled with somebody. If the numbers are right, you might be scheduled with a 1-1 that you could play spoiler for, but you can certainly still play your last 0-2 match with someone else that is willing.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes, but if I am out, at least this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad that you all have allowed me to be a part of it as well. So, thank you.
And we're happy to have you. We're always happy to have people enjoying free enterprise in our tournaments. You don't have to be a top runner to enjoy it, and I am happy to hear that you have been enjoying it. Have you been having do you have any specific thoughts so far on the tournament, just in your experience in general, or?
The game has it's very there's how would you say it, like a low cost of entry to get into it, but the skill ceiling is super high, but anybody can jump right in and start learning, and which is really cool. So if anybody is out there and you like this game and you want to just kind of breathe some new life into it, try it out and join some of the tournaments or racing events. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Up on with the entry and the ceiling, and one of the things that's going to help everyone getting through that phase is that those really good runners I've mentioned are very free with their advice and happy to help anyone that's learning this randomizer learn how to get a lot better at it. So by all means, jump in, ask questions. There are a lot of helpful people here.
Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see that you were having a good time. Sorry that, as long as you got what out of this tournament, it doesn't matter what your win-loss record is in this, and I'm hoping that you got what you wanted out of this tournament.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to have fun and to force myself to learn the game better and to learn the randomizer, better. So all in all, that's what happened, and we'll do it again and keep doing it, and see how it goes.
Sounds great. And one of the things I did when I was learning this, I would always watch back the VODs of my races, especially ones that had commentary. Just there's a lot you can pick up from either the commentators talking or just what your opponent's doing. So that's another great place to go and learn.
Yeah, I actually have I'll have to rewatch this because it seems I think we both had some interesting choices that we made. So
this was not the seats started rude and got ruder on very weird and different vectors sometimes. It was a true piece of art that our restreamer Poydrak rolled for us.
I still had fun with it. Even the trolley seats, I still have a lot of fun with. I like just trying to beat them, even if I have to bash my head against the wall for like 4 hours.
That is a stance I can respect. Do you have any final questions, Commander Leonhardt?
No, we've got it all, I think. Do you have any last Thresh?
No, like I said, thank you all, and everybody else in the tournament, and good luck on the rest of your matches, and I am going to eagerly await to see how Invenerable does at the end of this one, see who gets to dethrone him.
That's something I think we're all waiting for, and we're all looking forward to see who gets to go and take the shots at the champ of our previous tournament, the Poobah Gauntlet. Well, then we're going to let you go. Have a great evening, and congratulations on your race.
Oh, thank you very much, and you all have a great night.
Thank you. And with that, we are done with our match for this evening, but Free Enterprise isn't done with matches for this evening. We'll be sending you all along to RPG Limit Break, where there's another match in progress. Please, when you go over there, please do not go and spoil the results of this race. Feel free to go and say that we had a great one, that we had an exciting race, and hype everyone else up.
Yep. And if you liked what you saw here, give the runners a follow, EuphoricLemon and Sathdresh. Also, don't leave out our restreamer Poydrak, our tracker Alisail, my co-commentator Baka Shinobi, and Randomania. Thank you for hosting this and many other races. We couldn't put on so many races without partner channels to help us out.
And don't forget to give my co-commentator, Commander Leonhardt, a follow as well, another fine runner of this game.